In a shocking revelation, it turns out that Joe Biden had classified documents at his UPenn office. Oh boy. Classified documents, I mean, that's criminal, isn't it? He's going to have to be arrested. He's going to have to first impeached, then convicted, then criminally charged. Oh, wait, you can't criminally charge a sitting president, I guess. Oh, well, we'll see what happens. I'm not going to hold my breath waiting for Democrats to actually come out and say anything negative about Joe Biden. It's not surprising that we're now hearing a similar story, classified documents. I mean, we saw it with Hillary. But they're not going to call for any accountability. It's not going to happen. They're going to throw it under the rug. So we'll just sit back, watch, and then laugh, knowing that nothing will come of it. However, we have another story that's really interesting. Emails released showing that I guess it looks like the Biden administration was trying to get Tucker Carlson banned. Among other things, Pfizer was lobbying Twitter as well. So that's interesting. And then this weekend, it was crazy. January 8th is basically January 6th in Brazil now. Brazilians stormed into the Capitol, to the Congress, into the Supreme Court. And the media is saying Trump inspired it. So here we go. All right, everybody. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com, become a member, subscribe by clicking that Join Us button to support our work directly, and you'll get access to exclusive members-only shows from this podcast, uncensored, every night. We put them up around 11 or so p.m. Not so family-friendly, but definitely worth a listen. And with your support, we're going to do a whole bunch of fun, crazy stuff, like this Saturday in D.C. at Freedom Plaza. I'm going to be skating. And I want to see all of you there. We're going to get a van. We're going to load it up with a whole bunch of decks, skateboard decks. I think we've got like maybe 30 or so step-on, snack, and find out skateboards. We've maybe got 30 or so Timcast skateboards. We're going to give them all away for free. We're literally, I'm going to pull up in the car and be like, who wants a free board? And then, I don't know, maybe some other free stuff. And then we're all going to skate. And so I'm going to bring me and the boys. We're going to go down there. We're going to have a good skate session. Nothing political, just literally skateboarding. DC, Freedom Plaza, show up. I'll probably be there around 10 a.m. I'm immediately just going to give away a whole bunch of free stuff. And if you want a board, we'll give it out. And it should be a good day of fun. Hope to see you there. With your support, we'll do more stuff like this. I'll get into that story in a little, like explaining why we're doing it and what's going on. And but just know that I'm not here to back down when the woke mob rears its ugly head. I'm here to mind my business and do what I want to do. And that means if I want to go skate in DC, I'm going to go skate in DC, and ain't nobody can tell me otherwise. So smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends, become a member. Like I said, joining us today, it's going to be a fun show. We got the HodgeTwins here. Yeah. Camera's going to have to pick one of you guys. I don't know.
Same person.
Who are you? Same person.
I'm Kevin. I'm Kevin if you can't tell us apart.
All right, but so the Made in America shirt's Kevin.
Yeah. Keith.
And he's wearing the Liberty or Death shirt.
Yeah.
We should have saved money and just flew one of them out here.
Yeah.
And then just double the cameras up.
Right.
So what do you guys do? Who are you, for those that don't know? I think everybody knows who you are, but...
We're known as the Conservative Twins on YouTube.
Yeah.
We came out politically about 4 or 5 years ago, but before that, we had been on YouTube for maybe about 10 years, doing fitness, talking about current events.
Giving relationship advice?
Yeah. But now, most of all, everybody knows about our politics.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right on.
Unfortunately, the reason why we came out politically is because we're black, and we want to show blacks that, hey, you don't have to think a certain way, you can be conservative as well. But unfortunately, we end up gentrifying a whole audience. So yeah.
Well, there you go, I guess.
Yeah, I remember when we first came out, when we had a comedy show in Nashville, right? And I looked outside, I was like, I think these people at the wrong show.
Yeah.
I had a fan base just turned overnight, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Really? Like people left you behind or what?
Yeah, it was like a good mix.
We got to talk about this, because the reason I'm doing the skate thing has a lot to do with something similar. So we'll talk about all this stuff. It's crazy times. Thanks for hanging out, man. It's going to be fun. It's going to be funny. We got Luke Rudkowski hanging out.
Hey guys, my name's Luke Rudkowski here of wearechange.org. And as you know, there's a lot of dynamic duos out there. We got the HodgeTwins here. There's the Island Boys, and there, of course, there's also the real Island Boys, which I think are worth paying attention to. Rumor is it that they're still partying out there. If you want to bring more attention to the real party boys, as depicted on my shirt, you can on thebestpoliticalshirts.com, and because you do, that's why I am here. Thank you again so much for having me.
Hi everybody, Ian Crossland here, iancrossland.net. What's the item? Let's just keep rolling this along. How are you, Serge? Tell me about it.
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm at Serge.com. I not Serge.com. People were telling me that they were going to Serge.com. I don't own that. I'm just Serge.com. Spell it out. It's not too hard. Anyways.
So you don't actually have the website?
No, but now I'm like I should maybe get like Serge.com.com, like spell out .com.
That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this news from the Post-Millennial. Breaking. Classified documents from Biden's time as VP discovered in his UPenn office. Whoa. Whoa, classified documents.
Wow.
We heard that Donald Trump had classified documents, and the FBI raided his house. All right, wow. I mean, the FBI is going to have to raid Joe Biden, right?
I do not believe for a second the FBI raided his house looking for classified documents. I think it was just a fishing expedition.
Oh, I agree, for sure.
Yeah.
But they're not going to raid Joe Biden at all for any reason, so, you know.
Yeah, in his defense, he probably just forgot they were there.
It's not his fault.
but-
It's a vegetable.
No, but for real.
Yeah.
Like, he probably just forgot they were there.
Yeah.
Like, even if Trump had classified documents, it's probably just absent-minded. It's like we grabbed a box, we
Right.
carried it out, we were moving out.
Yeah.
They turned it into a federal case. Chicago attorney has been assigned by U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland to review classified documents found at the Penn Biden Center for Diplomacy and Global Engagement in Washington, reports CBS News. It relates to about 10 documents from Biden's vice presidential office. Now, see,
Wow.
that's disqualifying as a public office, isn't it? Like,
That's at least so. Statistically speaking, it's been in his office at least 6 years, at least 6 or 7.
Probably
years.
longer.
Yeah,
Probably longer.
yeah.
He's the forgetful guy. I mean, it happens, right? You lose a paper there, and then, you press the red button, and holy cow, we have nuclear robot. That's a whole nother subject to get into. Another interesting fact about what we're seeing being reported today was that these documents were actually found a day before the midterm elections, and we're hearing about it right now. This, as the DOJ is also considering pressing charges against Donald Trump for, of course, having his classified documents. Donald Trump, by the way, just sent out a message to everyone on Truth Social saying, quote, "When is the FBI going to raid the many homes of Joe Biden, perhaps even the White House?" Probably not anytime soon, since, of course, the FBI pretty much is working as the own private Stasi of the White House and essentially being very busy banning people, especially on social media, for their speech that they disagreed with. So
Right.
I don't see that happening anytime soon. I don't know what you guys think.
That'd be like a scene out of South Park if they raided the White House.
Yeah.
they should. I mean, look,
Why not?
they shouldn't. I'll be honest. Going after Donald Trump was wrong.
Yeah,
rating him over this is just total BS.
Yeah.
But if this is the standard that the Democrats and the FBI want to play by, then we expect Joe Biden to get raided. I mean, this is from when he was vice president. So that calls into question eligibility. If they want to play this game, that it's illegal to take classified documents like they did for Trump, and they wanted to argue that it disqualified him for running again. Remember this?
Right, yeah.
They were putting out those memes where they were like, Trump can't run for president now that he's been caught with these documents. Oh, this is an interesting thing about Joe Biden there. You're saying, huh?
Yeah, but that always kind of happens. I mean, if they didn't do anything for Hillary Clinton's private email server, they're not going to do anything here. I mean, it's pretty clear. It's pretty obvious. I mean, what else do you expect the FBI to do?
Yeah, it should be obvious to anybody with a brain that they treat conservatives, Republicans totally different than what they do to liberals. So obvious double standard. Nobody wants to point it out, especially on the left.
Well, yeah, but so what do you guys say to people like your friends and your family when they don't believe you? When you show them a story like this, like, here's the FBI raiding Trump's home.
Yeah.
Here's them saying nothing's going on with Joe Biden. Like, how do you?
Well, I know better. I just don't even have that conversation.
Yeah.
Because you're like
brutal.
going to a brick wall.
during Christmas,
That's the best time to have those conversations.
Well, it was my father-in-law, and he brought up Trump. He said, "Man, that guy Trump, he's like Hitler." I was like, "What?" I was like, "He said, did you see what they did at the Capitol? It was crazy." I was like,
Bruh.
"But
How did you counter? How did that conversation go?
I was just nice about it because English is not his first language. My wife is from Jalisco, Mexico. He's a real nice guy. It's just that I think people don't understand that the typical American that's not into politics, when they turn on the news, they just believe it.
Yeah.
That guy is in a suit. He's a journalist. He's not going to lie to me. You know what I
Right.
mean? So a lot of people fall for it. So I just told him, I said, he's not a bad guy. He might be an asshole, but he's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's not Hitler. I was like, do you know what Hitler did?
Yeah.
But this is a scary thing that I've been talking about all day. It's like we have to have conversations and try to bring regular people like that into understanding. Otherwise, we're going to see kids. They're growing up and they're not hearing these ideas at all. These
Right.
kids are going to get older, and their only thing they're going to know is wokeness. There's not going to be an argument. Their whole worldview is built upon one idea because the other conversation's not happening.
Yeah, but so many people in this country is out of tune with politics. They don't vote.
Yeah.
They don't. I mean, they just see a glimpse here and there. Like, how many people actually voted in this past election
I
compared
actually
to
voted-
the population in the country?
It's what was it, like 58% or 60%? It was actually pretty high relatively. Like
Right.
more and more people are getting politically active, which is a good thing, I think.
Which is great, but it's like 40% of this country is they're just tuned out. They don't.
Yeah, I
care.
know. During this last election, during when Biden won the presidency, he had some candidates that actually was pretty high. They said like 100% of the people turn out to vote.
Some places more than 100.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
actually.
crazy. That's amazing.
They were saying, I guess, that because of COVID, people moved, and that caused a shock to the system where, like, more than 100% of registered voters ended up turning out.
Yeah.
But I'm not, you know, it's funny.
Well,
I mean,
Joe Biden, man,
that's what happened. Like,
Joe Biden's a superstar, man.
Yeah.
81 million votes, and he didn't even campaign.
yeah, he was in the basement the whole time.
Yeah.
He wasn't showing up.
That's
Man,
amazing.
but-
I don't think we can beat him in the next election.
Yeah.
Well, no, but here's
How can you?
Here's the thing about that. We were talking about this before the show about like revenue, viewership, and everything in 2020 was really high. The pandemic made everything very, very weird. So I think one of Biden's biggest advantages was he didn't need to campaign because it was a culture war, and they forced everybody into it. They took away your movies. You couldn't go to movies. You couldn't go to sporting events. You couldn't even leave your house. Then they told you it was Donald Trump's fault. Then they handed you a mail-in ballot.
Right.
There you go.
So being in the basement was relatable to a lot of people.
Right.
Saying like, hey, you know, he's staying there. You know, I'm doing that too. This is my guy right here.
I think Hunter helped him a lot too. He's famous. Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
A lot of photos, a lot of videos of that guy. He's a great Scimitar Verite artist.
Dude.
And
That's what started a YouTube channel.
my God, personal
Hunter Biden's
vlogging.
vlogging,
Yeah.
No. Hey. Dude,
Hunter Biden is the epitome of freedom.
Hey, that's not that's true.
Yeah, I agree. Like, he what was like his girlfriend or his wife threw a gun in a garbage can and he'd get in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Like,
Who
rules
can,
are
who
right
can
there.
have drugs?
right
who
near
can-
school.
Yeah, who can have drugs and a gun and nothing happens to you? You
can't be black.
That's what I call freedom.
That's the American dream. That the Constitution should be
Yeah,
based on.
That's what you call white privilege. There you go.
But
If it existed.
yo,
yeah.
I got to be honest. I kind of would love to watch a Hunter Biden YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Him vlogging every day.
He'd have 1 million
Dude.
subscribers in a week.
In
Easy.
a week. It'd be like-
Yeah.
he's at a club, his shirt's off, and he's just like shaking. He's got white powder crusted to his face. People are going to be like, this is awesome.
Like, try to do something now, punk. Try to arrest me now.
It's like how he goes legitimate is that he creates a YouTube channel around his antics and then doesn't need to take corrupt money from foreign businesses or anything like that.
Exactly.
Right. Man.
You know,
Don't
but
give him any ideas, man.
I mean, no, but I'd love
I
to
would
see
watch it.
Yeah.
I would
seriously.
subscribe. And
Yeah.
click the notification button.
I
Easy.
actually write out his whole show for him.
I mean, look, Hunter Biden doing YouTube videos means he's not doing corrupt business deals. I'll take
Right,
it.
right.
You know, and we'll have a good time. We'll laugh.
What's his
You know, he'll do a little
educational
crack.
background? I know he got kicked out of the military for drugs, I think. I'm not sure what his education background is. He's had some very significant jobs that people would die for.
Yeah, like he was on a board member of Burisma, an energy company in Ukraine. Doesn't even speak the language. Yeah, it's amazing.
How does that work?
That's like me going to Mexico. I don't speak any Spanish, and I'm on the board of an energy company. Don't speak a lick of Spanish.
A black guy.
But like,
that's
actually think about it. They're going to be sitting there in a meeting, and they're all going to be speaking Spanish, and you're going to be like, "Okay." Like, it's that.
I'm like, see. See.
And then your dad shows up and demands the president fire a prosecutor who's investigating your company.
It's on tape.
They're bragging about it.
You know what's crazy? They've been investigating Trump ever since, even before he became president. They've been investigating that man every day of the year for like the last 5-6 years. Can we just investigate Biden for one day? Just one day. Spend like $50.
I think they're talking about doing something. Not gonna necessarily trust McCarthy and the rest of the Republicans, but they're talking about. I think Jim Jordan's heading up a committee on the weaponization of government.
Right.
Yeah.
So
they
you know,
have to, yeah.
fingers crossed. I don't know how much.
Which is a
confidence I
real
have.
thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, the one thing we talk about all the time is that a bunch of pro-lifers got arrested by the feds for being at abortion clinics, but the protesters who show up to Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett's house, no problem. Even though it's like, well, come on, like, there's nope.
Yeah.
It's just it's completely lopsided. And you mentioned it earlier.
Yeah. It is.
See, our government is like so corrupt. It's like, it's not even.
Yeah, I used to thought our country was like. I mean, our country is better than most. I think it's the best country. We travel all over the world, Australia, London. I mean, we got so many more opportunities. I mean, like when we went to Australia, London, they're talking about U.S. politics 24/7.
Yeah.
That's weird.
They're talking about Trump in Australia.
That's weird.
Yeah. And we went to Canada, man. The ladies we had a
She was
comedy
Trump-
show.
she was Trump
from
out.
head to toe.
Yeah.
It's
Trump
like
out.
everything in the world revolves around the United States of America.
Yeah. A lot of people want to be here too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Have you had to check out the southern border?
That's right. Everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. The crazy thing about that is you get people coming from Africa. They'll fly from Africa to Brazil and then take trains and convoys up to the United States border.
Yeah.
And then you
That's
get the
crazy.
left acting like it's just refugees. I'm like, bro, they had like $6,000 to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's a lot of
migrant.
money. Yeah.
Yeah.
How, that's the crazy
Somebody's
thing.
financing that. I don't.
How did some dude who lives in Western Africa
Yeah.
save up $3,000 per person
Yeah.
to fly to Brazil,
Yeah.
then take this trip up and pay the smugglers and the traffickers? It's
a
crazy.
system. It's a system set up.
Yeah.
They're sure as hell not walking 3,000 miles like they make it out to be. No, they're not walking 3,000.
They ride on top of trains and stuff and in
I
cars.
could, yeah, I
That's
could
like
barely-
walking from here. That's like walking from Virginia to California. That's 2,000 miles.
Yeah.
They saying they walking 3,000 miles.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
So what do we do?
Ian,
keep
you got
voting.
resolutions?
Republican.
Meditate. That helps me.
Yeah.
It helps you kind of like be okay with it, I guess. You know what I mean? Like you.
Yeah, but also when the rubber hits the road, if the wheels are spinning too fast, you get no traction. So it's good to kind of reorient and realize that life is actually pretty good, regardless of the chaos
Yeah.
Right.
going on
Yeah, we
outside.
still have it good in this country.
It's still the best country in the world, in my
we
opinion.
could be doing so much better, though. But
Yeah.
Well, that's
beggars can't be choosers, I guess.
I think I'm optimistic, but I see a dark future in front of us because let's get into this one right now. Because you guys were talking a moment ago about your fan base flipped on you.
Right.
You want to explain like what happened? You guys were doing fitness content on YouTube, and
Yeah.
They used to be very young. You see a bunch of bodybuilders,
Yeah,
bunch of
and-
fit chicks.
And it was a good mix. It's like
Yeah.
15-20% would be like black,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
I mean, we've always had a majority white audience because we live in a white country, but but it was a good mix. It represented what America is, right? Now it's just
Yeah. Like it looks like we had a Bruce Springsteen concert.
just a whole bunch of white dudes.
Yeah, it totally blew me away because when we had a show in Knoxville, we look out to the arms. I was like, you see a
was
bunch
Nashville,
of
yeah.
coveralls, cowboy hats. I was like, I think these people at the wrong show.
yeah.
I didn't know. I mean, since we came out of the closet as conservative, I didn't think I thought. For the most part, we was committing career suicide, but we just fed up to
We
the
was just
point.
so pissed off by how the direction of the country and then we had no idea people was gonna come out and support us the way they did.
You know what's crazy? When we go out before our comedy shows, we get a standing ovation.
Wow.
Yeah.
So wait, you guys actually thought it was done? You were like, we're gonna say this, and that's the end of it. But so
Yep.
be it.
Yeah, I did.
Bravo.
Yeah, I had no idea it was going to take off the way it did.
That's
But
the
it's
best
like-
decision we ever made.
And you know, it's a lot of places they won't book us because we're conservative, but the comedy clubs that do book us, man, the staff, the management, they're like, man, these people tip so good. You guys can come back. It's like they spend money, they tip well, they're real cordial with everybody.
And then there's
Yeah.
some clubs the way they treat our fans like shit. I'd never go back there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to XCal Shooting Range and Fitness and sports fitness shooting in Virginia. We went there this weekend. Everyone there was super cool. If you like shooting guns, man, shout out because they were very, very nice to us.
Yeah.
Super awesome.
I hope so. They got guns.
That's right. That's right. And I'm like, I think if you're in a position where you're in the business of guns, you got to choose your friends as loudly as possible because if you're not speaking up for your rights, they've been coming after you for a long time.
Yeah, an armed society is a very polite society, and
Yeah.
I think the stats in Chicago, especially with crime, show that very well.
Yeah,
but yeah, shouts out to XCal, great guys, great facility, lots of firearms, lots of like really fun stuff to shoot.
Full auto,
yeah,
belt
I
fed.
had a lot
Yeah.
of fun there this
Yeah.
weekend as well. So
What's your
shouts out
favorite
to them.
gun? What's your favorite pistol?
It depends. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, 300 Blackout, Sugar Weasels are also pretty cool. I
you
like
a
those a
killer
lot.
then.
Yeah.
They
I'm a Biden guy. I got a shotgun.
they have cameras on the range,
Right.
And I'm walking out to grab some of our crew to bring them in, and I'm like, oh, there's Luke, and you can see Luke
Yeah.
in the camera in the range, and you can't hear anything, and he's just going like this,
Yeah.
like explaining the machine gun.
Yeah.
But the reason I was asking about it is because I mentioned earlier that we're going to do this big skate thing on Saturday. I shouldn't even call it a big skate thing. I just said
Right.
literally I'm going to go and skate. Because I'm just sick and tired of hearing this over and over and over again. And look, I got a lot of friends who are in the skateboard industry people I've known for decades, people I've known since I was a kid, and they're all doing this thing where they're like, "Hey man, I really agree with everything you say, but like I can't tell anybody that, of course." And I'm like,
I hate that.
"Yeah, get out of here, dude!"
Yeah.
Like, look,
That's like such a smack in
So
your
what
face.
happened? What galvanized you to do this event with the skateboard?
well, look, man, like I don't want to call it an event. I'm just gonna say
Okay.
I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
So we've gone skating around all the parks in this area.
Right.
Never had an issue. They opened up a new park, a park in Hagerstown, Maryland. no issue. I show up, I'm skating, people come up to me, they're fist bumping me, they're shaking
Right.
my hand. So like, oh, dude, like, cool, man, cool to see you. It's really awesome. Then I go to DC and apparently like something happened. I don't even know what, because I don't really even know anybody there.
Well, it's DC.
It's DC.
yeah.
But so I'm minding my own business, and there was like a couple people that I like. One guy sort of knew, and there are a couple people there who are like, you know, famous. And I'm just like, oh wow, look at this guy. And I'm just like talking to the locals, no problem. But apparently, some people had some beef and started like sending out texts into the community saying something. I don't even know exactly what necessarily.
Was it because you're white?
Yeah. Actually, they were whiter than I was,
Right.
and so
They were the good white, huh?
that's right. That's how it goes, right?
Yeah.
So me being, you know, like supposedly this diverse individual of a mixed race background, showing up to skate my own business, I got white people attacking me now, but I'm the white supremacist dead bad guys. But so I was just like, dude, I live here, man. We
Yeah.
live in the DC area. I skate here. There's no reason for anything to be said about anything. I mind my own business. I'm gonna go do what I want. I'm gonna skate. I'm do what I want.
Yeah.
And so the issue is, you guys mentioned that your audience flipped it. I thought that was interesting. For me, what's happened is I've found that most of the people who followed me still do, but they message me privately, be like, "Oh yeah, I can't let anybody know."
Yeah.
Right.
And then I'm like, "Here's what's gonna happen. There's a little kid right now. He's 10 years old. He's not heard of free speech at all because you won't speak up. So when he goes to the skate park, the only thing he hears is wokeness."
Right.
And then you just keep your mouth shut like a good little, like a good little indentured servant, marching behind the woke people, helping them to their ends. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, that's what feeds it. Nobody's
Yeah.
speaking up.
Yeah.
That's right. So that's kind of you know,
That's
bravo,
crazy,
you guys.
man. That just because you might have different opinions in politics, why people will, I don't know. It's
It's a cult.
Yeah, it's a lack of courage in this country.
But it's like, it seems like it's when people get afraid, when they start to panic, is when the politics becomes divisive. If they're not in a panic state,
Right.
I've never noticed that in the last 40 years.
Right,
It's
you're
been
absolutely
it's
right.
fun. It's actually fun to talk politics.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's why I think your guys' story is so important here, because you know you guys also had that fear before coming out and actually being the truest versions of yourselves, being actually authentic, not being afraid to actually speak your mind. And once you're living freely, there's the kind of softness, there's a kind of easiness going around life, being like, hey, I'm not going to have to, you know, think about what I'm going to have to say here. I'm just going to say what I want to say. Living that life is amazing. And sadly, a lot of people listening to this right now are holding themselves back. They're afraid to say anything. They're afraid to intervene. They're afraid to have those conversations. And I think they're being stupid.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
you
it's
guys-
a liberating experience once you do come out. I mean,
Exactly.
it's liberating for a gay person to finally come out of the closet. It's liberating if you're conservative. Just come out and be yourself.
it was definitely liberating for two black guys to come out of the closet
Yeah.
as conservatives.
Yeah.
So
What happened leading up to it? Were you getting frustrated behind the scenes?
I got tired of looking at like all these famous black people on social media with their views. I was like, man, I have a platform. I'm gonna use my platform to express. You know, I'm a black guy, but I think this way. It's almost like a culture within the black community, and it is. It's like 90% of blacks vote Democrat every election. That is so weird. There's no other demographic in this country that votes at that clip. That 90%.
Yeah, it doesn't
it's
make any
because they
sense.
think the other side is racist. They feel for that.
yeah,
Which is sad.
and they keep saying that people on the left have said that we are a threat to democracy. The only threat to democracy is when you lie about the other side and call them names and call them transphobia, racist. They are the threats to democracy because you're lying for votes.
And use
Or
the federal government to prosecute them and to silence their
Exactly.
speech on social media, like the White House is doing by literally telling social media companies to censor people because of their
Right.
voices, which is absolutely
let me,
crazy.
Let me just say, that kind of democracy is like North Korean democracy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they call it the Democratic People's Republic of North Korea, and they all vote, and they all have to vote for the one guy.
Yeah.
When you all vote for the exact same thing, that's not democracy.
Yeah.
So, but here's what you got to understand: when they say you're a threat to our democracy, they're not talking about the United States as an our. They're talking about the cult as an our.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
saying you're a threat to the woke order. That's what they're
Right.
saying.
Yeah, and when they're
exactly.
calling for diversity, they're not calling for diversity of opinions.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
just calling for diversity of the same opinion that they're going to regurgitate and beat you over the head with,
Yeah,
because
right.
that's the power structure that really is kind of fomenting in this country and getting more violent and getting more powerful by the day, which is becoming a larger threat against human rights, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
and that's why they picked a black woman to be a judge, because she's a woman, and when she gets up and she doesn't know what the hell a woman is.
There was
It's all
a
BS.
this woman, Kirsten Henning, I think her name was. She refused to kneel for BLM, and it was like college soccer, I think. And so they benched her because of it. She just won 100, allegedly. She filed a lawsuit, won 100 grand. She's since left. She's on doing her life, $100,000 in her pocket.
Nice.
So I'm telling people, there was this college professor who said, if you're in school, if you're in work, and they start disparaging white people, Christians, males, or any of that stuff, or conservatives, bring it to HR and file a complaint because they're not allowed to do that. Use their own system against them.
Like blacks are a protected class. Gays are a protected class. Any person of color is a protected class. But I don't think necessarily you can be discriminatory towards white people and you don't have to worry about any civil rights.
Yeah,
That's basically what they're doing.
Yeah. That's the culture of the United States of America right now, which is weird.
Because it's the idea that a white person has no color. It's a person that isn't.
No, they're saying
of any
that-
color.
That you're
privileged.
privileged.
You're
Actually, what they're
superior.
saying, you are superior.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you can get over that. But I'm
Best
serious,
day of my
this-
life.
This is how, as a black person,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
They think you're superior.
I think it comes from a lot of self-hatred too. They don't think they can do it
yeah.
because they've been indoctrinated.
Imagine
to
being a
think
black
that way.
person, you turn on TV and you need a white politician, Democrat, to help you be successful in this country.
That's what Joe Biden said. But they're going to put y'all back in chains.
Yeah, I mean, that's why 90% of black people vote Democrat, because they think they need Democrats' help because you guys are evil.
And are you sure you guys are black? Because Joe Biden said if you're not voting for him, you're not really black.
Technically, I'm
too.
no longer black.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
Were you guys
there's
feeling
that.
like the racism percolate before you got vocal politically? Were you feeling that kind of stuff? I did, because it was like
Well-
under the radar until 2016. I wasn't sensing it.
Actually, the person who actually converted me was Barack Obama. He'd actually converted me. I thought when he became president of the United, because I voted for him for his first term. You know, I voted for Al Gore. I voted for Bill
Yeah, I was
Clinton. I was
Democrat.
liberal. I was raised Democrat.
I voted for Kerry.
But you know what?
Bush wasn't
I
so
just
great,
like
though.
yeah.
That's Skull and Bones' cousin?
Yeah. Barack Obama actually changed our minds, and the first time I voted Republican was for Mitt Romney.
Yeah, believe that shit.
What?
Like
Yeah.
Barack, because some people have said was the most racist president of all time because he would constantly talk about race.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great thing when he got elected. I was like, man, this is
Yeah, you would thought like, man, a black man is president.
how
Man.
far has this country came, and ever since he
Yeah.
became
Things
president,
took a
things have
turn for the worse.
Turned for the worse in this country.
This country is systemically racist. But
There-
even though a black man beat two white men in a country that's what, 65% white?
Yeah, with the name Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah.
And twice.
Yeah,
did it
that
twice.
should have galvanized white supremacists out of up on the rocks. Barack Obama, not my country. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, deporter in chief.
That's right.
Everyone forgot.
I mean, if you voted for Romney, that's technically voting for a Democrat too. So
Yeah.
that's
Well,
not
he was my
I
last
can't pick it
resort.
up.
Yeah, McCain the same way. Looking back on it now, he's
Don't it, looking back on it, do it feel like it was a setup for him to become president? That's the best
Yeah.
thing the Republicans could have
Mitt
came up
Romney
with.
and McCain.
Yeah. It doesn't
I
make
mean, or they're just not smart people.
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they're two elite clubs, and they're able to keep everybody out.
But they were friends with Obama.
Of course.
Close friends. And he was calling them pretty basically a racist, and they didn't even.
You
That's
see the
weird.
you see the video from the House when there's no speaker. C-SPAN can show whatever they want, and you've got Republicans and Democrats fist bumping and hanging out.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And then you know, many of these people will get up and be like, "Oh, these people across the aisle, they don't want to." Hey man, I'm just saying that. You know, it's all one big
It's
party.
kind
now.
of
That's what George Carlin said.
Kind of feel like we stuck in the Truman Show.
Yeah, man, I feel that. That's for sure.
Yeah, especially on mushrooms. You guys ever take psilocybin?
haven't-
It really
I
feels
haven't
like
tried
ginger.
that.
Yeah, it's the all the artificial stuff is very obviously built by humans. Everything else is
Yeah.
like, what is this reality?
Yeah.
They
Let
put
me
this stuff here.
let's jump to the story. We got this the story from Luke Rudkowski over here on
Good
Twitter
guy, good guy.
at Luke We Are Changed. Says the emails here are very revealing, as the White House was lobbying to censor Tucker Carlson and Tommy Loren on Facebook. So Attorney General Andrew Bailey of Louisiana says we now have hard evidence that President Biden's administration colluded with social media companies to censor differing viewpoints and silence, quote, misinformation that was later deemed true. Here's the White House employee asked Twitter to silence Robert Kennedy Jr. Here, the Biden White House directs Facebook to shut down conservative voices Tucker Carlson and Tommy Loren. And more. Here's the collusion, et cetera, et cetera. I'm kind of surprised. I mean, Tucker Carlson's a big name. This is a big risk for them. He's a guy's got money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
when you think-
audacity of them to try to censor
He's
Tucker.
when I think of the word conservatism, republicanism, the first face pops in my face is Tucker Carlson.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the face of Fox News when I When I think of Fox News, I think of him.
He's the biggest, most popular news anchor out there, and for the White House to say no, we need to silence him, we need to ban him.
Right.
That's a huge ask that, of course, Facebook couldn't officially comply with. But this is the documents we're getting from the Attorney General of Louisiana, that, of course, is requesting a lot of these documents. This is what they're making public. What aren't they making public? And if the White House is asking for Tucker Carlson be taken down, I mean, what does that leave us with? Right? Imagine everyone else. I think they're seeing what they could get away with. I think with these emails, they're like, let's just go as far as we can. Let's eliminate all voices. And I think Facebook here clearly said, hey, we can't go too crazy now. We'll give you almost everything you want, but we won't give you this. And I think this is a way of also negotiating as well. You always ask for the biggest prize, and then you meet halfway. Oh, we can't get Tucker Carlson. Oh, but we could get Alex Jones. Oh, we could get David Icke. Let's get those guys. Okay, fine, we got it.
Yeah, this
Good.
is right.
And they still destroyed free speech, because this is essentially trampling on the First Amendment in so many different instances, and clear violation of the law, clear abuse of power. And this is what they do in third world countries. This is what they do in dictatorships. So to have this happen here in America should be a big wake-up call to everyone, especially with how much power the Democrats are consolidating for themselves, which they're clearly using against their political opponents and not against any kind of legitimate bad guy out there.
Right. And these are the same people that's going to bring us the ministry of truth.
That's right. That's what they were trying to do.
That's crazy.
They tried it. And they were here's what they were doing. They've got these organizations, these nonprofits that have government funding or meet with people in government. Then they go, the nonprofits, to big tech and say, you got to remove these people. And big tech says, oh, no, it's just a nonprofit giving us advice. It's just, they're here for the truth. It's just a way the government circumvents. Then they tried doing the actual Ministry of Truth. What were they calling it? Like, Department of Disinformation or some other nonsense?
It's crazy. And you go back and read all the history books. Anybody that's doing all the censoring turn out to be the bad guys.
Yeah.
Tendency towards the U.S. was censoring heavily in World War II. We had an Office of Censorship.
Yeah.
The issue is when you're not allowed to express your opinion on things.
Right.
I guess back then in the United States, it was like, don't talk about where our boats are. Don't talk about where our troops are going. If you hear someone say because what would happen is some dude would be like, "Mom, being deployed, I'm going to this place," and you go, "Wow," and then you go tell somebody. And then, but it was never like you couldn't tell somebody you didn't like something.
It used to be that you weren't allowed to incite panic in any way. So the whole can't shout fire in a crowded theater thing comes from a guy that was standing outside and trying to tell people, don't sign up for the draft. Do not sign up for the draft. Don't get drafted for World War I. And they were like, you can't do that. That's illegal. So they arrested the guy, went to the Supreme Court, and they're like, actually, you are allowed to tell people not to sign up. Because he was making people panic about signing up for the military.
Right.
And that's...
Well, we're not in a war, but these emails are specifically related to the COVID-19 vaccine, with specifically the White House saying, hey, we don't like what Tucker Carlson is saying about our product that we're telling everyone to take, that we gave no liability for the producers of, and therefore we need to take him down since this is a threat against national health. And in reality, everything that Tucker Carlson was warning about has essentially come true, and everything that the White House was claiming has essentially been officially debunked by many scientists and many scientific studies that have been coming out and proving it to be absolutely false.
I'm optimistic. Elon Musk bought Twitter, starts dumping all the emails and evidence. We got this lawsuit from Louisiana and Missouri, and they're releasing more evidence. So it seems like the machine is struggling to keep up with this.
I wonder if the White House is still emailing Twitter, though. I wonder if
definitely,
hey, can you please do this just one more time, please? Just give us a hit, please.
This was part of something. This was part of the Twitter files.
Yep.
Even after Elon took over, they were still asking the people. Now that they're fired, maybe that's not really going on.
Yeah. Right.
But
what do you guys think that email would look like?
It's probably some set up on automation.
Yeah, it's like input name, just like the Vice News articles when they were throwing, at the board to pick up their latest.
Yeah,
story.
they have an email where it says, "Greetings, insert Facebook employee here. This is insert employee. User on your platform, insert username, is being racist and hateful. And for this, we believe they violated your rules. Please ban insert username now."
Right.
And then they just copy and paste it.
How important is Elon Musk right now? Man, what he's did
That's why he's traveling around with armed guards and stuff.
Yeah, which is amazing because all he is trying to protect free speech, which is the most important right we have.
It's the most
That's
important
what made America America, free speech.
Well, they had to operate in secret, the Founding Fathers. You know, they'd have to draft like anonymous pamphlets and hand them out so nobody knew where it was coming from because they knew how important free speech was, and they were fighting through the censorship.
Musk reminds me of
I'll
Beaumarchais. You guys know that guy? He's the French guy. Basically, one of the founding fathers is a French guy. He should be on Mount Rushmore with the other guys, but he was like the guy that went as a French spy for the French king. He went to England and then found out, okay, the English are beating the hell out of the Americans in the Revolution. So you go back to France and he'd lie to the king, the French king, be like, yeah, the Americans are winning. Send money. So then the French got involved because of Beaumarchais' lies. He got them, and then he was sending his own personal money. He set up a fake company with this other guy in Louisiana to send weapons and armor, or weapons and like outfits and stuff. But it was without him, you know, probably would have been no American Revolution.
Wow.
Yeah, it reminds me of Elon because he wasn't an American citizen.
Right.
Fox News had another article a couple days ago that was titled "Musk Says U.S. Government Demanded Twitter Suspend 250,000 accounts, including journalists," according to the Twitter files. So 250,000, yes, 250,000 accounts were demanded to be suspended by the U.S. government. That's a lot of people.
Sounds like
that's a lot of accounts.
Services.
And I bet probably everyone in this room is on that list.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
I was blacklisted on Facebook when I started crying about COVID. When after the COVID stuff, or no, it was George Floyd, and I was like, "Yo, George Floyd had 5 chemicals in his system. He had fentanyl in his system. Let's talk about fentanyl in his system behind the wheel of a car, driving high on fentanyl. Let's talk about that." And Facebook went, we're gonna blacklist.
And you know, have COVID
right
too.
there, Ian.
He had COVID too, right?
Yeah,
COVID.
He had COVID.
Caffeine, THC in his system.
You-
Tobacco.
You made this point way back when. You were saying that a dude high on fentanyl and meth, a speedball, behind the steering wheel of the car, you got to stop that person.
Yeah.
You could have killed some kids. Who knows?
Yeah, and you know what? That whole incident when I first saw it was hard to watch, so I didn't watch the whole video. So I made myself go back and watch it, and I started to analyze everything he said. It was crazy. He started saying he couldn't breathe before he even got to the ground. He said it when he was in the vehicle.
He was overdosing.
And I was talking to a bunch of police officers I run into when we're doing our shows at airports and things like that. They said they find so many people dead in jail from the same amount of drugs that man had.
Yeah.
So I think it's a
crazy.
possibility he could have died regardless of he'd rode him on his side.
Well, what
anyway.
got that cop convicted was,
Yeah, lack of
I'm pretty
humanity.
sure, because I used to catch shoplifters, and they told us certain people, old elderly, you cannot be on their chest.
Right.
You got to handle them differently. So I'm sure cops have been trained. If somebody's telling you can't breathe, you don't have them even laying on their stomach. That's what got him convicted, the lack of compassion for the guy. If you'd have rolled him over and he died anyway, he wouldn't be in jail. All he had to do was show that little amount of compassion. That's all he had to do.
Yeah.
He was already handcuffed. There was no reason to have him sit right there. Just have
For
him
9
sit
minutes.
up
I
and
think
let
he
him
was
breathe.
flexing
Yeah.
a little. He was flexing a little.
Yeah, I mean,
George was flexion or the cop?
No, the cop was flexing because, at that time, cops was getting all this bad press. And I guess he was like in the mood, like, I ain't got to listen to nobody. I've been trained to do this. And he stopped thinking.
Well, he got there
Got
late.
him in trouble.
Chauvin?
Yeah, he did. He was the last one to get there, right?
Yeah, he probably just shut him. Was like, I don't know, don't care.
And he knew the guy.
9.5 minutes is excessive.
He did.
Like he knew George from working together as a bouncer at a bar. Was that a real story? Came out.
I know. I don't know if that was real. Was that real?
Yeah,
That's what I
but
heard.
Yeah.
But look, man, there's people that I've worked with I wouldn't remember. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I worked at a company with 50 employees. You think I remember a single person?
Well, he did. George Floyd was like, "Take me out of the car, please. Put me on the ground. I can't breathe. I can't breathe." Way before there was any kind of problem.
Before Chauvin even got there, he said that.
Yeah.
And they said okay. Then Chauvin shows up.
And he had fentanyl in his system. I mean, absolutely, the guy was out of his
fatal
mind. Should have
level.
been arrested for being behind the wheel of a car on fentanyl with,
definitely.
with family.
Yeah, just his body reaction, the way he was acting, it was like no grown man that's not high acts like that.
He was
kept
a
saying-
big dude.
He kept saying like, "I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die." He was like saying he thought he was gonna die
Yeah.
before
Right. Yeah.
anything kicked off.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
wild. Well, anyway, Facebook censors didn't like that little
That's what
piece
they-
of honest observation.
Yeah.
And I don't like centralized systems because, like you said, Luke, what is it, 200,000, 250,000 accounts?
great. Yep.
That's going to happen forever if we leave our social media networks in centralized systems.
It's already happening on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram,
TikTok?
on WhatsApp, TikTok, all of those other
We've been
platforms.
banned on TikTok 3 times. We came this close to getting banned on Facebook.
What's your
What did
what's
they
your
get you
TikTok?
for? What did they try to get you for?
Hate speech.
They called us hate. We had 1 million followers on TikTok, and it gets deleted like it was
Yeah.
nothing.
TikTok.
Yeah.
So you went to 0 3 different times, come back?
Yeah, and I try again, and
I got like 300, but I'm on my last strike, so I just stopped posting.
Is it what's getting you banned on TikTok?
Just my same videos I post on YouTube, Facebook, same videos. We
got-
got to take them down. They say it's hate speech. I posted a video of a transgender female, which is a biological male, breastfeeding.
No, transgender woman.
Yeah, transgender woman. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, because transgender female is a
That's a guy.
female who,
Yeah.
who wants to be a man. So like,
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
born with the
Yeah,
female
yeah,
parts takes
She had a
testosterone.
cock. She had a cock.
There you go. There you go.
So she's trying to breastfeed her baby. I got up her, and I come back to the video. I'm like, what the?
And I said,
That's the whole video. She's
That's
right
the
there
whole
trying to breastfeed it, and then Kim's come like, what the?
You got banned for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got removed. Said
We
hate
got
speech.
we got banned from TikTok, and they didn't give us a reason. They
Yeah.
were like,
It sound that's about right.
You can't
yeah.
post anything remotely conservative, moderate in on TikTok, or they'll take
Yeah.
it down.
Okay.
You can post clips from Fox News, but you can't give a response to it.
This is what I was talking about when I was mentioning that we're doing the skate thing, and this is why.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of these pro skateboarders are like, either they voted for Trump, and there's a ton of them that did,
Mm-hmm.
or they don't like Trump, but they're just not woke and they can't stand the wokeness,
Mm-hmm.
but none of them will speak up. And so what happens is like with TikTok. On
Mm-hmm.
TikTok, a kid opens it up. What do they see? Woke. Conservative, banned, woke.
Mm-hmm.
So that kid's going to grow up, and the only thing they're going to think is, if I'm going to fit in, this is the way to do it.
Yeah,
It is reprogramming all of society right before our eyes.
Yeah.
I remember I had to argue with my daughter when I first came out of politics. Harry Styles was wearing a dress,
Oh yeah.
and
remember
my
that.
daughter is a huge fan. And we got into an argument. She started crying. You stupid. And I was just trying to figure out what, because at the time my daughter was like 13. I'm like, why are you crying? I'm just spitting facts here. These are not opinions. And she started telling me about, guys getting pregnant. And I was like, she just didn't know, because I had never sat down with her, and she was on social media. So
So
but
what did you say? Like,
I said, something about the dress and being a guy wearing a dress.
yeah.
I was like, well, that's, anybody could wear a dress. I was like, but I told her the reason why he's wearing the dress. She said, but he's cute. I think it looks great on him. I said, no, it's not. It doesn't look great on him. You're 13. You don't.
You're highly impressionable.
Yeah. So it's like, like people with Kanye when he came on here. People stood up for Kanye, what he did when he came here, when he was totally in the wrong. It's because they love his music. They're biased. They're not thinking.
Yeah.
She was a huge Harry Styles fan, and she wasn't listening. And whatever I said, it hurt her feelings. And now she's 20 and she's
And we was the
good.
same way growing up, looking at Madonna, listening to her music. I never understood what parents is like. Don't watch her. She's Satan. As I got older, it makes more sense now.
Yeah.
These people are put in positions of power with this highly impressionable kids, and they're there to manipulate them and have them think and act. And I think nowadays vote a certain way. in our society.
I thought that it was just so improbable that people were trying to sexualize society on purpose. That was
Yeah.
real. Then I started hearing about that. I just learned about this Kinsey guy. Learned about it a little while ago.
Oh, yeah.
This sex doctor from the 1930s, 40s, 50s,
Yep.
whatever it was.
Yeah.
And Hugh Hefner was his student.
Yeah.
And they were overtly attempting to sexualize college kids. Like they would go to
Right.
college campuses and be like, we are going to sexualize society. So I guess we're still seeing this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the grooming stuff's real, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
totally. Right.
So about the celebrity stuff, I remember I was working for one nonprofit, and they were like, "I'm a big fan of Death Cab for Cutie," and they said, "Who wants to go see a Death Cab concert?" And I was like, "Are you kidding?" And like, it was really popular with college kids at the time, and so they said anybody who volunteers to do voter registration at the event gets an all access pass. And I was like, "I'm done. You tell me where and when." They give me an all access pass. They gave me a stack of voter registration forms and said, "Go out and just ask people."
Yeah.
And I got to hang out backstage and meet the band. So right there, they're very, very clever in how they do this stuff. Now, I'm not saying anything about the band. The band wasn't doing anything.
Right.
But this organization knew to go after young people in these spaces to exploit the celebrity because they knew I would do it for them. And I was like, I don't know, I was like 20 years old.
Yeah, yeah. We all like. That's why Biden talked to Cardi B.
That's why they talked
Yep.
to The Rock.
I mean, it's
Johnson,
just
yeah.
Influence.
because 40% of this country is not in the politics, but they'll go do what Cardi B says or The Rock says. That's why they do it.
But
Those
Cardi
poor guys
B's
will
doing
do-
all right.
yeah.
Cardi B's, sort of been calling it out. You know what I mean? Have you seen her stuff?
Yeah, I seen her inflation video.
She's talking about
Yeah, that's right.
a head of lettuce is $7.
Yeah.
So that's because you
good.
going to the Gucci store buying your lettuce.
Yeah,
But-
the Rock looks broke. He looks like he'll back any candidate for any amount of money. He has no
did a
shame.
tweet.
No shame at all.
He did a tweet, and I think it was exact on the date, 365 day where he was endorsing them, and I responded to him. I said, today I want you to remember the day you recommended the worst president and worst vice president in our history. I think it was on Instagram.
Yeah.
'Cause that dude, you can't tell me he wasn't paid money to do that.
Yeah. He supported Gavin Newsom when Gavin Newsom had this whole scandal with the restaurant. He supported any politician that will just probably give him a little bit of money because
That's just sleazy,
as we
right?
know, that's what a lot of these that's what a lot of these celebrities do. They're like, oh, you want me to support you? How much are you willing to give me?
Yeah,
And
that's a
that's how
sellout.
it works. Exactly.
that is
It's
absolute
like
sellout.
Selling out this country, most importantly.
Yeah.
Just like John Cena with his Mandarin.
Apologizing.
Yes.
That
And bowing
was
down.
weird.
And
And that's okay. You're allowed to apologize to China. You're allowed to wear a dress, but they're going to ban you if you've got conservative opinions. Why? Because they want to make sure that kids only hear one side of the equation. 10 years, that 10-year-old kid, 8-year-old kid right now, let's say 8-year-old kid, goes on TikTok, goes to school, teachers are grooming them and all that stuff. 10 years from now, that kid's going to be voting. Who do you think they're going to vote for?
Oh, yeah.
Unless y'all start speaking up, showing up to skate events this Saturday, 10 a.m.,
There you go.
and just saying, look, man, this is what I tell people. You don't need to come out and wave an American flag and scream Trump's name out loud. You don't got to put on cue shaman horns
Right.
and scream as loud as you can. All you got to do is mind your own business and just be like,
back where you came from.
all you got to do is mind your own business and just be like, I don't know about all that. That's it. When someone comes to you and says, you know, man, it's like these Trumpsters were so bad. Like they're all nasty people. You just go, I don't know about all that.
Yeah, huh? Interesting.
No. I don't know about all that. Like, I don't believe it.
That's it.
I
You don't
know.
have to respond to people. That's something that's important for people to understand, I think, in reality. You never have to respond.
Right.
You might be, even in court, plead the fifth. You know, you don't even have to respond in court legally because we realize it. But ethically, there's so many questions that are leading you towards a way of answering. You don't have to respond to that stuff. Or you just laugh and say, yeah. Yeah.
was that your brother's toilet war cry?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Something wrong with him sometimes.
Yo, when you guys were transitioning into politics, like
Right.
what was that? What was your state of mind for the months before that? Were you political before?
Yeah, I just kept it to myself. And when we came out, we talked about it, and I was like, I didn't want to pretty much alienate half my fan base, you know, and that's exactly what we did when we came out. It's just, at first we tried to come in neutral, just more common sense. And they were still unsubscribing, still, saying horrible things about us and calling us sellouts and Uncle Tom. So I just came out with everything. and
Well,
said,
we did come in neutral. Our first video
Yeah.
about the kid. We just said no one should be attacked for wearing a shirt, expressing their First Amendment right, whether he's wearing a Biden shirt or a Trump shirt. No one should ever be attacked for wearing an Obama shirt or anything. And when we posted that,
top comment, Trump supporters. I knew it. I'm unsubscribing. I was like, it's not.
we lost like
rational
what,
at all.
15, 10,000 followers in like within an hour.
Yeah, it's a post we put up on Instagram.
Yeah.
Wow. It was really weird.
10,000 out of how many
now
total?
doesn't it feel like aliens came and infected their brain and took over their bodies?
Yeah,
We
that's
took a
crazy.
picture with Trump like a cardboard cutout.
Yeah.
And we just put up and we're just laughing in the photo.
They thought it was actually Donald Trump.
I mean, that's how dumb. I mean, I'm not saying they're dumb, but people are just so ignorant.
Yeah.
It's like
I think they're
put it
pod
into
people.
words.
I mean, I don't mean that seriously. I mean that figuratively. But it's like the NPC meme is real.
Yeah.
These are people who are just like sitting there with their eyes glazed over and drool coming out of their mouth, and then they're just like, "But Donald Trump is bad," and you're like, "Yo, it's a cardboard cutout. It's not a real Trump."
Yeah.
But Donald Trump is bad. And you're like, my guy, it's a joke. It's not.
Yeah.
You can't. Their brain is a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
they can't even prove that he's bad. They've been taught that he's bad.
Yeah.
I know, and that's the thing. It's like we said. This is the crazy thing about a show like this. It's like, Luke's what are you, an anarchist? I guess I'm like moderate. Ian's wild card all over the place. We bring in a lot of
A
people. who
fascist
are-
liberal.
Fascist liberal. But like we get opinions all across the board.
Right.
You come out and you say to someone like, I agree with every single one of your opinions, except BLM. No, that's it.
You're a fraud. Yeah,
Yup.
you're horrible.
You're fired. Get out. You're a Trump supporter.
I mean, that
Far right.
whole BLM, that was just one of the biggest frauds of the decade.
biggest
man.
grifts of our time.
And a lot of that money went to Democrat politicians.
That was what was the worst part about it was the misappropriated funds. Like people were buying houses. The woman bought
Yeah.
a mansion with that.
Yeah,
like
they're living.
couple.
And what made it worse, they're living around white people.
with all kinds of police officers.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
well-funded police departments.
Yeah.
That was the funny thing. I remember there was a BLM protest in Wisconsin we talked about where all these BLM protesters are outside of this guy's house. He brandishes a shotgun. So they call the police.
Right.
When the police come, they're all screaming and cheering. Police come, they're all screaming and cheering.
Yeah.
We're like, wait, hold on a minute.
This is a conversation talking about like people that are susceptible to cults. People you might want to call them stupid. People with the eyes glazed over. They're in so much pain that they don't even realize they're in pain. But like, I think Klaus Schwab sits around with his buddies at World Economic Forum, has the same conversation. Like, what do we do with these people that are just willing to worship the cult TV?
Yeah.
Like, what do we do with them? What's a industrious, like what's a freedom loving way to deal with them? Because otherwise they want to put them in pods and have them just create energy.
Yeah, typically those people are very emotional. You can get to the coat strings just by something that makes them feel sad or happy.
Yeah.
People that think that way, they're just very easily manipulated because they don't have their emotions in check. Anybody that way, it's like talking to a brick wall.
Yeah, this is why health, I think, is so important for me and for a lot of different people, because if you don't have your health right, if your gut is not right, your brain can't be operating properly. And if your brain's not working properly, you're more emotional. When you're more emotional, you're less logical. So I think, first of all, just having a conversation about mental health and physical health, I think that's the start. And I think naturally, there's a reason there's so many articles talking about how, right-wingers are more prone to work out than left-wingers. There's a reason why there's this kind of philosophy of personal responsibility that's more prevalent on one side than the other side. So I think a lot of this has to be done by leading by example. I think we should never be telling people exactly what to do. I think through empathy, through conversations, through listening to people, we could say, hey, let me try to help you be the best version of yourself. And when you are, you don't need the government. You don't need all the consumerist products. You don't need all this other bullcrap that's superficial, that's made up, that's marketed to you, that essentially take away from your life and your kind of source that you have here on this planet. You yourself are becoming more of a self-independent human being that is, a person that doesn't need anything and doesn't feed the system.
But I believe in everything you said, but so many people are just so dependent on other people.
Yeah. People that's more dependent on other people, not independent, they easily going to be swinging
It's like,
left.
it's always going to be those people who just dependent on other people and they don't practice self-accountability and
But a lot of those people don't have families too.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you have a family, you have a family unit that is able to depend on each other and help each other out, because not everyone's going to be 100% personally responsible and perfect all the time. But if you have a family member to help you out here, and I think this is why there has been such a concerted effort and such an attack on the family unit. Through culture, through, of course, online pornography, through, of course, dating, through, of course, all the psyops and psychological warfare that's happening out there. Because then if you're able to make an individual just by themselves, you're able to make them a victim a lot easier. So it's not that these people depend on others, is that they depend on government. They want the government to step in because they have no one else in their lives to help them or to back them up. So when they get a proposition like, hey, the government's going to write you a $2,000 check. Hey, the government's going to come in here and give you free health care. Hey, the government's going to help you be euthanized. Hey, people are like, that's gimme. And then that kind of existence where you depend on others and suck and be an energy vampire is an existence that people are trapped in the loop of, and nudging them and at least having them concentrate on their physical health and mental health naturally, I think, would lead to a solution to this problem.
Yeah, and that will never happen because Democrats they're going to exploit that too.
Well, they love the fats and they want to keep people fat.
Yeah.
Let's jump to this story from the Daily Mail. It's the most rewarding work we've ever done. Canadian doctor who's euthanized 400 people proudly shares how she helped kill man deemed incapable of choosing assisted suicide. As another physician says, she's helped 300 die. Did you guys know that euthanasia is now a leading cause of death in Canada?
No, I had no
So
idea.
that's actually legal in Canada?
Legal in Canada. You can go and just be like, I want to die. And then they'll be like, you got it. So we were just talking about health. You were saying Democrats don't want you to be healthy. No. Quite the opposite. Now, this is Canada, so I'm not going to say it's one for one Democrats, but this establishment liberal machine side of things is all about, hey, man, walk into the suicide booth. We'll line you right up.
It's a death cult. It's literally essentially a death cult. And
Literally.
Yeah. I mean, Bill Gates said that there's too many people in this world, and the Canadian healthcare system is overwhelmed. So, what better solution by a state government than, of course, offer people to off themselves?
There was a woman with chronic illness. She could not get health care in Canada because the system is bunk. So they offered to kill her instead. She does a commercial where she's like, at least I can die with dignity or whatever. And then a few days later, if the story goes viral because everyone's freaking out, like, yo, this is nuts.
Right.
This old interview gets released where she's like, please, I don't want to die. Like, I need my medical treatment. And it's just like, nightmare scenario death panels like they were talking about 10 years ago.
Wait a minute. Canada's supposed to have one of the best healthcare systems.
But they got a death care system now, and that's not even a joke.
Yeah.
They're. I mean, look at this
Stephen
story.
Crowder told me some scary stories about that socialized healthcare they got, pal. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, man,
And you know what? I had my first experience with socialized healthcare being a veteran. Used to go to the VA. That's my first experience having socialized medicine. That service I got at the VA was horrible.
What was it like?
I could not walk. I was in so much pain. I hurt my back.
Yeah.
I had some family come drag me to the hospital, and they was throwing me all over the place, throwing me just like a rag doll.
You couldn't move.
And I was in pain, and they had the ugliest attitude. I thought I was going to die. They were so rude and so unapologetic, and the way they was throwing me around, and I was in so much pain. That was the last time I ever went to the VA.
Were you telling them while they were doing it, like, hey?
Oh, they know exactly how much pain I couldn't walk. I couldn't even stand. So I hadn't walked in like 2 days. I hurt my back. I had a sciatic nerve issue or something like that. Yeah. So, and when I was in the hospital, man, I was so scared to death. I told my wife, don't leave me here. Don't leave me here. They gave me 2 shots in the ass and some medication. I got the hell out of that, and I never went back.
Yeah, the government has no incentive to provide a good product because they have the monopoly.
Exactly.
And this is why socialized healthcare is leading to essentially the government saying, oh, you can't get a mobility scooter? Why don't you just kill yourself? Which is absolutely happening right now in Canada, which is absolutely
call it
Because I'm just a number. You're just a number in a socialized medicine.
So it says incapable of wanting to say that they want suicide. What do they mean by incapable? They can't talk, or
He did not have a serious illness or the capacity to make informed decisions about his own health.
So was he unconscious? Is that what
Or it's like someone who's
kinda-
got a mental illness, and they're like, we're gonna kill him anyway. Yo, that's like
crazy.
I'm sorry, dude. I hate to go full Godwin's law, but that's Nazi level stuff.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Where they were like people who are invalid. They would say they would execute, euthanize.
If you got a death, if you got a disease, and you're going to likely, they should be there to ease your pain. But if you're not able to ask for being euthanized or not, that's just sick.
Man,
The first comment to this story is that they're giving Joseph Mengele a run for his money, and they're not wrong.
Yeah.
They're absolutely not wrong. But this is the first layer of it. What's the step 2? What's the step 3?
Well, the Nazis did skip the first level. They just went and executed them. Like they weren't asking, "Do you want to do it?" So at least
they said
they're
get in
asking.
the train car, and then the next thing you knew, you were in a death camp.
Yeah.
Dr.
At least they're
Kevorkian.
asking.
Dr. Kevorkian, he was like, those were terminally ill people, and they wanted to die, right?
People who were really old, and they were like, I can't do this anymore. Every day hurts. And
Right.
he's like, I'm going to ease your suffering for you. I think about that because what do you do when you see like a deer hit by a car and its legs are broken?
Yeah.
Well, it's like, we're not going to leave it here just to wheeze out and suffer and die. You put it out of its misery.
Right.
It's an animal, though, not a person.
Yeah.
So I think I'm not sure if it was Seamus we talked about with this, but that's basically what he said. Like a human, you try and save no matter what. Animals, we don't, it's like we get it suffering, we'll put it out of its misery. Yeah. My view is like, if you're past a certain age, if you're terminal, if you've got a time limit, then maybe it's okay to say, we figure out a way to give you dignity. But the problem with it is, the reason why I ultimately end up leaning away, I think it was Seamus who said this, is that you open the door, and next thing you know, they're going to find justifications.
Yeah.
This 15-year-old kid, but doctor said, the doctor's going to come out and be like, I think he's got 2 months to live.
It's kind of like
He
the
has 10
gun
years.
argument, too. You ban rifles, then they're going to come for your handguns. You can't.
Well,
you
they're
can't
kind
give
of
them
doing it kind of already. Like if you're on life support and you're unresponsive, they want the family to pull
that's
the
if you're
cord.
brain dead, though.
Yeah.
Well,
But
depends.
some people's came back.
How do we even know someone's brain dead is the challenge, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the doctor might. What we're really saying is like, do you trust the doctor? Right. And so
I don't trust any doctor after this whole.
Think about how scary that must be if you're like, they call it locked in syndrome or whatever. Like you can move your eyes, but you can't move your body.
Right.
And the doctor's shining the light, and you're moving, and the doctor goes, "Look up for yes," and you look up. And he's like, look down for no. And you look down. And he goes, nah, I think it's a stimulant. I don't think it's actually in there. And you're like,
That's some Twilight Zone stuff.
Yeah, but this has happened. And then the doctor's like, I recommend pulling the plug. And people, like, you're screaming in your mind.
Yeah.
There have been many. I mean, look, there's a lot of people on the planet. A lot of people have lived. Of course, there are stories like this. It's not magical that it happened. People who are paralyzed, and the doctors think they're not there, and then they come to later like, I could hear everything.
Did you
man.
see that story about the guy in a coma for like 15 years of his life, and they made him watch Barney every day?
Oh, really?
And he remembered it. He was conscious during it, but he couldn't tell them, please turn it off. It's such a funny story. It's horrible, but he's doing well now.
Now,
I hated Barney when I was a kid.
Oh, I did too. I thought I was the only one.
I hated it. I got so I was like, "What is this bull crap?"
Yeah, that laugh. Oh, it drove me
what's
crazy.
worse? 15 years of being forced to watch Barney every single day, or waking up during surgery from anesthesia.
I'll wake up from surgery.
Yeah, I'll
Fine.
take
You
it.
give me that any day right now.
Yeah.
Give me the
Fine.
short
Do it.
pay.
Wake up,
I'll take
scream,
it.
get knocked back out, or 15 years of Barney the dinosaur.
For reference,
me out.
he was in for 12 years. This one
12
guy,
years.
12-year coma.
And they were playing Barney. It's like, God,
Reruns,
at
yeah.
least play reruns of like the A-Team or something.
Right.
You know?
It's not like they was trying to kill him.
Or maybe they were trying to get him to get up to change the channel.
Yeah,
So
something.
like, just leave it on, and eventually he'll
have to wake up from this. or-
He's going for the remote. He grabs it.
Yeah.
His name, if anyone wants to look at him, is Martin Pistorius is his name.
Pistorius.
Amazing story.
Oh, that's so brutal.
I think they were trying to kill him, trying to give him a heart attack. Yeah.
Just his blood pressure's. They're in the room and they're checking his vitals.
That means he
Barney
likes
turns
it.
on, and then they're like, "Wait, something's happening. His blood pressure is rising. What are you doing? I don't know. I was tapping his hand."
Yeah.
It's like Barney's saying, "I love you." The guy inside the coma.
He was smug. He was patronizing. Barney was not a good person. Okay,
Yeah.
he was not.
Yeah.
A lot of people have it twisted on him.
In
So-
his defense, he was a dinosaur, but
Now imagine, you see, they were grooming kids to like dinosaurs, because now if a dinosaur showed up, it's going to eat somebody, and the kid's not. He's being tricked. It's like when the cat gives the rat toxoplasmosis,
Yeah.
and the rat doesn't fear the cat anymore, and the cat eats it.
Yeah, it's
there you go.
genius.
That's exactly what it is.
Some big hippo propaganda. Like, hippos are the most nasty, like dangerous animals on earth.
Yeah, they are.
But I always
By
thought Hungry
far.
Hungry Hippo was like
No.
the cutest pet,
Yeah,
play
he was-
pet.
yeah.
No,
And now
no.
you
Marketing.
see videos, them coming at you. Like, you ever see those big mouths? Oh,
Right,
man.
Oh,
bro, have you ever seen them fight?
No.
You don't want that smoke, dude. Tell me right now, you don't want that at all.
Yeah,
Leave me
lion
out
would
of it.
not touch a hippo.
No,
They
no
wouldn't
way.
even get. No, I don't care if it's the pack up. They
They
won't mess
run
with it.
away every time.
I remember Barney, man, when it came out, I was just like getting out of middle school or high school or something. So I was just like ebbing out of that kind of show. But my younger brother would watch it. And it was like the weirdest, like disgusting, saddest, like make it stop kind of mindset. Was it like brainwashing? Was that like they were singing them these weird rhymes?
It was
in
so
a big
annoying.
Fake
It was.
costume.
I just think it was annoying. I'm not sure there's anything
So
evil
no
behind it. I
psyop?
don't know.
Hey,
I
let
don't
me-
know, man.
How about this? I remember I had my little boy, and I was in the living room, right? And I heard I thought it was a gay guy on TV. I said, "Who the hell is this gay guy on the TV? I can hear him from the living room." I went in there and it's SpongeBob SquarePants, right?
Yeah.
I was like, "What the hell is this?" Yeah, I love SpongeBob.
Yeah, SpongeBob's good, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love those movies he came out. Loved. I was like grown adult, like yeah.
But he gives us memes like the one where SpongeBob and Patrick burn everything down and then say we saved the city.
Right.
It's like you slap the Democrat D on it, and you're like, there we go.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I love that character in that first movie came out, Dennis. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love Dennis. I
Dennis?
love that SpongeBob movie. I've watched that so many times. It's so weird. I love it.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, there used to be some good kids shows. There were always adult jokes in them that were hidden subtly,
So
over your head or
many.
whatever.
I love the old Tom and Jerry cartoons.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of
Bugs
Tom and Jerry.
Bunny, Yosemite Sam, he was an asshole. I loved him.
You know what's a crazy fact is that people think Nimrod means idiot, but it was because
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny called Elmer Fudd Nimrod,
Right.
sarcastically referring to him as the Great Hunter. So he was like, "Hey Nimrod,"
Yeah.
and then people who didn't know anything about
I thought it meant idiot or something.
exactly because people watching Bugs Bunny didn't understand the joke.
Yeah.
Nimrod is the Great Hunter.
Right.
Elmer Fudd's not.
Oh, yeah.
So we called him Nimrod, and then everyone assumed he was calling him an idiot. Nimrod. Like,
Yeah,
what
they
does it even
canceled
like?
all those cartoons because they said it was teaching violence to kids.
Oh,
Oh man.
yeah.
And then they started making video games. They call it walking simulators. Have you heard about this? This has been for a while now. Video games and movies are all violent.
Right.
Like watch any. I was watching the trailer. They did some kind of like live stream for the new Harry Potter video game, and it's like it's Harry Potter. It's as millennial woke as they come. The kids love this stuff. And then it's like he goes, and now for combat. And then it shows some dude like levitating a guy, slicing him up and slamming him into walls. And I was just like, this combat's a part of like how we play games.
Yeah. Right.
But a lot of woke people want to remove that element and make games about like holding hands, singing, like planting flowers.
More fun
and
than
stuff.
that.
No, hey man, look, you know, like there's some games. What's that game that everyone plays where you're like on the island? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Minecraft.
No, but Minecraft's got some violence because you're like hitting cactuses or something.
Yeah.
Those weird little monsters.
What's those creepers trying to ruin your house and stuff?
No, but there's a game. There's a game where you're on like an island with a bunch of animal people. You know, are people can tell me what that game is in the chat? You know what I'm talking about. I don't know
with
these
animal
games.
people?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
The
Animal people, man. And Harvest Moon.
Harvest Moon.
Is that it with the animal?
Yeah, that's
Got
right.
animal
That's
people,
right.
huh?
Yeah, and like you plant. What do you do? Like you plant a garden or something?
Yeah, you just like live a life.
You mean furries? Are you talking about furries?
I don't know about that.
This room was Stardew Valley.
Yeah,
Stardew Valley.
Is
that one?
That's one of the new ones.
That's the new Harvest Moon. Yeah.
Oh, see, there you go. That's what I'm
Most
saying.
the
I was
super
saying like
popular
not
one.
every game is violent, you know.
Yeah.
But they're trying to take violence out of games, and it's like, look, you play a game that's violent, fine. Now what they're doing is they're trying to make Grand Theft Auto woke by making the main character a female. So it's like, so if you want to bang hookers and shoot people, you can be a woman when you do it now.
Dude,
That's wokeness, I guess.
You know what game is super racist and violent? Chess. It's the blacks versus the whites. The whites are the aggressors.
And they're all killing each other. That's actually a good point. We gotta change the color of chess to like blue and light blue.
You damn well better because it really indicates like Middle Eastern
Well,
conflict.
then it'd be if you change it to red to blue, then it's the Bloods versus the Crips.
No, you do blue and light blue.
Oh,
that way
okay.
everybody's blue, but you can tell them apart.
Right.
Or you just do numbers like the ones and the twos. No. One side is the A side, and the side is the one side. That way no one's beneath each other,
Right.
and no one's a different color. You got a board full of all the same color pieces.
Woke chess.
Woke chess, man.
It's crazy.
All right. Let's jump into this story, man, because this video is going viral, and I'm sure everybody's seen it. Canadian TV reporter suffers medical emergency live on air, telling host she's not feeling well and slurs words before eerie blank stare. Let me see if we can play this video. Oh, let me fix the. I always do this with the audio because I'm like playing music and
This
stuff.
is hard to watch. So
I haven't
if
seen
you
this.
guys
Trigger
you know,
warning.
yeah.
You haven't seen this one?
No, I haven't seen
Trigger
it.
warning.
It's a little hard to watch. So
Which one in the okay?
Oh, it's so quiet.
I'll try and bump it.
Happy that something is being done.
Oh, it's still on this.
But this is something that they've been
Are you getting
asking for since
Yeah, it's
day
still on
one.
the. It's still on this.
So for
It's coming
them,
through the
this
mics.
Oh, is that it? What?
Yeah, it's not. It's not on
No,
the Zoom. But should be like.
No, I changed it. It's on the right one.
Oh, there was a correction.
It's on the right one. It's just that it's super low audio.
In chess, you don't kill pieces; you capture them. Keep that in mind. You make them your
Slavery?
slaves. Yeah, you can slave the population.
Don't kill them, just slaves.
Let's
I'm gonna boost it right now.
let's play this.
I'm boosting it up.
Week before the third anniversary.
Well, people we spoke with say they were happy that something is being done, but this is something that they've been asking for since day one. So for them, this is about 1,000 days too late. Now, Nariman, looking at after the day, families are pushing the feds to. Sorry, Nariman, I'm not feeling very well right now, and I'm about to.
Okay, well, come back to me right now, and we'll make sure that, Jessica, you are doing okay. Thank you. We will.
Oh, dude. Look at that last part again. Watch how she her eyes
We'll
just
come back
zoom
to you
out.
Right now, we'll
Yeah.
make sure that
1,000
Jessica,
right there,
you
dude.
are
Look
doing
at that 1,000
okay.
yard. Yeah, right through you.
Thank you. We will.
Wow.
And then she's like, dude, she fell.
Yeah.
They cut
she
away from her.
passed out.
She hit the ground. Now everybody's got their theories.
Of course so,
This
yeah.
young woman on TV. Look, something like stuff like this has happened before. So I don't want to overhype this or downplay it. I just want to be like, I don't know.
I know what it is. I think
You
it's-
know?
Absolutely. I think it's very clear. The evidence is 100% there that this was absolutely climate change that is responsible for this. It is Canada, and the weather has been really hot lately there.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. Also, like I think everyone at the equator is already dead. I think there's a reason there's a migrant crisis here that the media is not telling us. And you got to trust the science. You got to trust Vice News.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Actually, look, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Look at this story from Vice. Scientists studying temperature at which humans spontaneously die with increasing urgency.
What?
Wet bulb conditions are when heat and humidity can cause otherwise healthy humans to overheat and die. They're happening more often than ever. Oh, that explains it. She's wearing a thick coat. I know it's cold out, but the humidity's building up. she's having a wet bulb inside of her thing, and her brain just starts boiling in her head, and then she's like, oh, then she goes down.
That's crazy. That's something you would expect to see on the Babylon Bee or something.
And that's not the first article. There's many articles like this making the same kind of arguments that there has been a slight change in temperatures, and therefore this is causing people to drop dead suddenly.
You know what? Yeah,
what they're
people have
doing.
been dropping dead for years, but I think it's more common now, right? It's
Look at
much
this.
more common. You see
Look at
more
it. Look at
In
this one.
sports, it is for sure.
Look at this
Yeah.
article right here. Look at August 2022. Rise in heart disease may be explained by extreme weather conditions. It's climate change.
So
It's
this
not-
weather clog your arteries?
Look at this. Look at this. It says it's not clear why temperature shifts correlate with more heart attacks.
Then why are you reporting it?
This is
That's a good question.
see. This is proof that people will believe anything, and Democrats exploit this all the time.
You know
It's
what I
like
think it is?
They
Hey.
exploit naive people.
No. I figured it out.
What?
If we're playing the correlation game, I got a lot of things to correlate. Heart attacks are linked with Joe Biden draining the petroleum reserves. You know what it must
Yeah.
be? When Biden started offloading all of our petroleum reserves, people started getting real bad anxiety,
Yeah.
causing heart attacks.
Yeah. Right.
Even in
Yeah.
15-year-olds.
Yeah.
Those 15-year-olds on the soccer field, they're like, gas prices, keeling over. If we're going to play this game of correlation in there, like you see the one where they said unvaccinated are more likely to get in car accidents?
Yeah. Yeah,
What
yeah.
the?
Yeah, and they're telling us to follow the science, which if they're following the science, just because you have a causation doesn't mean that's actually what's causing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
What
because
else-
you have a correlation doesn't mean causation.
Yeah.
What else? What else is going on this past year that would be fun to correlate into all these people having heart attacks?
Racism, clearly.
The rise of racism.
Y'all seen the fat black women say they're fat because of white people.
Yeah. Obesity, too, is caused by racism.
Caused by racism. No. So what's another major thing that happened in this past year? Like big news
What was
event.
the
Big
invasion in the Middle East that probably caused.
Dude. I mean, a lot of heart attacks are probably caused by Joe Biden's botched Afghanistan withdrawal. Hands down.
There's a lot of GMO mosquitoes too. They just started vaccinating the bees. That's going to work out really well. Bill Gates is doing really cool stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, food's another thing.
Anxiety.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, shout out. New York Times, if you're listening, I got a good one for you. Write an article that says anxiety over World War III because of Putin's invasion is causing heart attacks. Boom. And then what you do is when some 17-year-old kid has collapsed on the field again, because we have hundreds of these stories, you just be like, we talked to his parents, and yes, they talked. Like you ask the parents, have you ever talked about Russia? You did? Boom, there it is. Now we have evidence.
Yeah.
Now you can say, we asked the parents if they'd ever spoken about Russia. They said yes. Their kids had heart attacks.
Does it bother you to think that we might go to World War III? If they say yes, then that indicates stress.
Not so much as the heart attacks.
Yeah. You know what is crazy? Growing up, when I was in the military, there was a bunch of these athletes having heart attacks on the fields, and they was able to link it within maybe a couple of months. That it was linked to a pre-workout. It had some type of
Right.
caffeine that was linked to.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
it was
meth
similar
in it.
to
It was like meth.
Meth.
Yeah.
And they was
I
able to
remember
get
that.
rid of it. But we got all these people dropping dead, and they trying to say it's because of
Climate change.
Yeah, do you think they would locate the cause?
Yeah,
pretty
Yeah, I
quick?
mean, these are scientists.
Y'all remember when COVID first broke? They could name it to the second to who was dying in India, who was dying in Texas, who was dying in Florida, and
It was like a voting map during election night.
Remember when those videos from China were coming out of people dropping dead suddenly right at the beginning of COVID?
Right.
That was talked about. That was on the media. This really isn't.
Remember that nurse that got that vaccinated live and she just passes
pass
out?
out.
I was like, I really ain't taking that shit.
I think the problem we're having is that as the media lies more and more, as we expose more and more of the media lies, people will literally either believe or not believe anything.
Yeah.
You've got a tribal element of it where you've got people on the left who are like, I'm going to believe whatever the media says no matter what,
Yeah.
and even push the lies because they're in a cult. Then you got people on the other side who are just like, don't care, I'm not going to believe it. That's a problem either way you cut it.
Yeah.
Like how
Tribal thinking on both sides.
But so I guess what I'm thinking of is that Yuri Bezmenov interview. You guys ever see it?
Oh yeah.
The Russian, he's like the former Soviet
Yeah,
guy who's
yeah,
explaining
yeah.
how to destroy a country. He's saying, make sure no one knows what's true. And quite literally, us, that we're trapped in it.
Right.
We're outright being like, this story's, you're more likely to get in a car accident because you didn't get vaccinated. That's probably because you live in the middle of nowhere and probably because you don't drive that often.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? The cause of all of our problems in this
I'm sorry, I had it
country?
backwards. You're more likely to drive than you are if you were in a city.
Yeah. The reason why we're having so many problems in this country, it's not because of these politicians. If the media did their job like they're supposed to do it, that's why we have the First Amendment, to keep our politicians accountable. When you are in a communist country, you don't have a media. But that's why we have the First Amendment in this country. And now because our media won't do the right thing, hold both sides accountable, that's why we're in the position we're in.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the point in having a media if you're not gonna, you just gonna, stand up for the left, or you're just gonna stand up for the right? There's a lot more of that going on the left, but stuff like this is not journalism.
And they're grossly negligent about the kid. What was the pro-life school that was going to do a pro-life march at the Capitol, and that Native
like
American,
Nick Sandman. It was like,
Nick Sandman. Yeah. They end up having to pay that guy like how much? Like hundreds of millions of dollars.
yeah, but
right?
they
For the
ran that
I
story
don't know if he
because
got
they
that
got to
much.
paint Trump supporters as like these evil, racist people, and that's why he
Pod
got
people,
paid.
dude. They're pod people.
Yeah.
You see that thing of Jimmy Fallon singing about XBB 1.5?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's a pod person, man. Pod people can't get humor. It's like an alien coming here. You're like in the Matrix when that guy is like, everything tastes like chicken because the robots don't know what things taste like.
Right.
Yeah.
The pod people don't know how to do jokes, so they're like doing these really off-putting facsimiles
Yeah.
of humor, and it doesn't
Yeah.
work.
Or Klaus Schwab is like, oh, dance now. And he's like, okay, yes, sir, yes.
Yeah, Jimmy.
you to dance.
That
ever
poor
wanted to
guy.
do
I
is
mean,
sing
you could
and
see the soul just being sucked out of his life and existence on this earth when he's like, X1, BB, 1 point. That poor guy. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine the human suffering? Just how low you have to think of yourself to be such a stooge.
They delouse him when he walks backstage.
Yeah.
That spray him
poor
on the
man.
fire hose.
Serious.
Stephen Colbert did it like what, a couple years ago
The
too?
vaccine.
Yeah, he did. He did a vaccine dance. I was like,
He actually did a whole bunch.
Yeah.
he did a bunch of.
It was
He did.
it's a black dating app. What was the name of that dating app?
Oh,
it
it's a-
came
yeah.
up their vaccine. You
It
remember?
was like a rap song. It was ratchet, and it was about, oh my god.
What was
Back that.
It was a black dating app just for black people.
Yeah.
So you already know this rap song is gonna be ratchet as shit, and they're rapping about getting vaccinated.
Yeah.
It was, and the lead singer was a trans.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure which way it was, a trans girl versus.
Was it Vax That Ass Up?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think that.
I think I saw that.
Yeah.
Vax that ass up.
I was like, looking at that, I was like, is this really how y'all see black people? This is how you're gonna approach them and market them a vaccine? Is this?
Vax that thing up?
Yep, that's it.
Juvenile? Is that juvenile?
Yes.
That was Juvenile too.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Wow, good for
Yeah, it
him,
was a
man.
spinoff of his song. Yeah.
And everybody's comments
it
like,
was him.
is that a dude or is that a kid?
Oh, he remixed Back That Thing You.
Yeah.
Or is that,
Yeah.
that thing up. Maybe that's a Back That Thing up.
yeah.
It
So
was
he
so
remixed it.
remarkably bad.
Do you guys?
Should we play it?
You guys see this story? Well, I was going to bring this one up.
Answers,
The
yes.
basketball player who collapsed on the court.
No, I didn't hear about that one.
You didn't hear this one? This
yes,
one also went
recently.
viral. Check a look. We'll play this.
Oh
video.
wow, I didn't see this.
Wait, I just want to make sure the volume's not too loud.
Is
before
that
we play
NBA?
because we
Yeah,
spiked.
we're good now. We're good
That's
now.
college, right?
This is college right here. Look at this dude.
Keep your eyes on number 3.
Number
Right
3 right
side of the
there.
Screen. That's
Boom.
emote we see.
Watch this. He starts grabbing his
Sophomore guard
chest. Look at that.
Stops, then slowly goes down to the ground. Players from both teams visibly upset after watching. Take a look.
When did
Number
this
of
happen?
ODU players were
That
seen
wasn't-
crying,
'cause they
looking
know it
on,
wasn't
hoping their
basketball that
teammate
caused
was
it.
That wasn't Commotio Cardis.
No, yeah.
You know when
Nothing hit him.
that football player got tackled. You know, so I've asked a medical professional, and they said, well, that one could be like, and this is somebody who's like complaining about the vaccine. We have a medical professional we know.
But you know what's crazy? It's never happened before.
I watch football all the time.
Actually,
yeah.
in football perhaps.
Yeah, in football, yeah.
So it's like,
There was a guy in the 50s, he had a blood clot. But
Right.
he had a blood clot.
and then he like died in the field.
70s, 71. I
71?
think. Yeah, something like that.
So-
So it was right at the end of the game, too.
It could be. I'm not going to sit here and pretend it is. You know what I mean? Like the media's going to come out and be like, oh, it was, it's Commotio Cardis and better parents got to watch out for their kids. And it's like, if that was like winning the lottery five times.
Exactly. That's what I'm about to say. What are the chances of that happening?
It happens in baseball because a hard projectile is thrown at like 30
Right.
to 50 miles an hour or whatever,
right.
hits a kid right above the heart, and then like, stuns their heart.
Yeah,
Right.
but this guy you have pads that come down like this.
Yeah, it's like I watch.
Well, look, man, this guy just fell down for no reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
he
they-
got up quick and then he fell. I was like, this
And then
weird.
they brought him to the bench, and they're sending him to a cardiologist. So he just
Right.
went down.
My guy that travels with us does shows. He got the vax because he had to for work, so he didn't have no choice. And he was on stage. He opens for us. Remember that time?
He had an episode on
He
stage.
had an episode up on stage where his chest started hurting really bad, and he got pale. And he's a black guy, and he wasn't feeling good. He had to cut his set and call us out sooner. And he's like, dude, I don't know how. He said, man, my chest was just like, it was hurting and I couldn't breathe. I was short of breath. And I was like, are you fine now? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. But he said, I don't know what the hell happened. I think I just hyperventilated.
I
was like,
mean,
dude,
look, Everybody has a choice.
Yeah.
When was
That
that?
choice might be you get to be homeless and live in the woods, and you might starve to death. Like, certainly it's coercive elements, but you have a choice. I think look, I don't know what's causing any of this, and I'm not going to pretend to know. I'm going to say talk to a doctor, but I'm going to tell you, if you feel a certain way about what's going on, you better make the choice you think is going to keep you alive.
Yeah, I mean, I bought a car like about a year ago, and I was doing my paperwork with the finance guy, and he shared a story with me about his daughter. He's like, and this is right when the algae came out, the Fauci algae came out, and he said his daughter wanted to travel and go to Europe, but because of COVID, she couldn't do it. But now because the vaccine was out, you can go travel in Europe and go to all these great places, but you have to be vaccinated. So she got vaccinated, and 2 weeks before she took off to go on her trip, she dropped dead of a blood clot.
Wow.
She's in her early 20s.
I was talking to.
He said that. So he told me, he's like, dude, if you're healthy, he's like, dude, I wouldn't. That's what he told me personally. And
so I had a similar thing when I talked to a doctor. So like I did not get the vaccine.
Right.
I talked to a doctor, and they said this was back before. This was around the time when they were like, we don't know how many we got, and they were like, you're young, you're not in the risk factor.
Right.
You exercise. Let someone else get it. You're not the person for
Right.
this. Like someone who's
Exactly.
70 needs this. When I got sick, we went to the doctor. Everybody knows that story. But I talked to a doctor, and that's what they told me. I think for a lot of people, they got mad because they went to their doctors, and the doctors were like, don't know, don't care, just do it. Or a lot of people like pulled up in 7-Eleven parking lots.
Right.
My thing was like, look, ask your doctor questions about the news and what's going on. Ask them like, hey man, I heard this story. If they can properly inform you and you trust them, then take your doctor's advice. But there's a lot of people who are complaining because their doctors don't seem to know what's going on. And I'm like, that's like hiring a plumber who doesn't know how to fix a toilet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like find a doctor who knows what's going on and get some good medical advice.
And I think they
Doctor-
have a financial incentive to recommend the shot too. And that's a conflict of interest.
Well,
Well,
there's
but not
also-
just that, but like opiates and any drug.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
big problem
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely
Exactly.
learned a lot through the opioid epidemic. And,
But just
I-
the bigger picture being that doctors recommend drugs because pharmaceutical companies make money off of it. They send them free samples. I hurt my knee when I was a kid skating, and the doctor handed me like 5 like bundles of steroid samples. Like, here, you need this for an anti-inflammatory, and I was just like, what is this?
Yeah. So how do you fix that though with doctors?
Well,
Getting incentivized.
I think you make people understand that doctors could be as easily bought off as politicians.
Right.
And I think you make people prioritize their own health. And I think at the best kind of medical advice I could give anybody is to do what is right for them. And every individual is unique. Everyone's different. But we also have to realize that there is a war on your health. There's a lot of very powerful people that are interested in making you fat and making you sad and making you infertile. And a lot of this war is waged through our food. So I think just living as an example, I think educating people and telling people as much as we can. This is what I do. This is what I focus on a lot, especially with my members area. Whoops, sorry there. With my members area, specifically focusing and talking about a lot of these issues on a one-on-one kind of personal basis. And when I go to the doctor, I travel a lot and I see a lot of different doctors out there. And I always kind of ask them, I'm like, hey, you did you? And based on that conversation, or based off him even or her asking me, "Hey, what's your diet? What's your stress levels? How's your sleep schedule? What are you doing any physical exercise?" If the doctor's asking me that, then I know that doctor's actually incentivized to helping me and taking care of me. Otherwise, they're just like, "Here, take these pills." Automatically, that's a red flag, and that should be a red flag for a lot of people.
You know what I found most alarming about the pandemic? When they start recommending the shot, even if you had already contracted the virus.
Yeah, that was
exactly.
a huge red flag for me.
Really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like, who gets chickenpox and then go gets the chickenpox vaccine?
Well, I think you're not supposed to. I'm not the doctor.
Yeah,
but
you-
from
that-
what I'm told is you get a vaccine to help your body kick up an immune response so that you don't get really sick from the thing. If you already got sick from the thing, don't get the vaccine because your body's
Right.
already kicked up the immune response. That's
Exactly.
what I'm told.
That's what a lot of doctors were saying, and then they were the ones that were censored. They were the ones that were
Right.
kicked out. There was 2 famous doctors from California came out and did a video specifically about this. That video was taken off of YouTube.
Yeah.
When I-
What I
when-
did
when I-
like is, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, when I called the doctor, they said explicitly, you cannot get the vaccine if you've had COVID. You have to wait.
Yeah.
They said you have to wait like a month or 2 or something like that.
It's crazy. People that got the vaccine and a damn booster.
Yeah, and it's like Dr. Fauci was pushing that idea. It's like, no, you because they hadn't determined yet how long your immunity was up after getting COVID. When he's been doing this for decades, he has a good idea that your immunity just doesn't run out in a year.
Yeah, like
after getting the
we give
disease.
blood like every what 4 months?
6 months.
Every
And
6 months, 4 to
2
6
years since I got COVID.
Every time
I still had the antibodies from COVID.
Yeah, and I caught it twice. That second time was
Hey,
nothing.
same.
That first time was rough.
Dude,
same.
The first time we got it, it was the worst thing I ever experienced.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My
And-
feet turned blue.
Oh wow.
My feet turned blue.
Yeah.
And me and Kevin, we was calling each other every hour, every couple hours. Hey, man, can you still breathe? Or you dying? But my
Glad
feet
to see
turned
you.
blue.
You kept breathing.
Yeah, and my lower back was hurting.
That
Yeah,
hurt the
same
most.
here.
Kidneys, maybe, right?
That was the kidneys over trying to
Yeah.
filter that garbage out of your body. But my feet
same
turned
here.
blue, and I was like, man, this is because I've had the flu, but that COVID, it was.
That's the crazy
Yeah.
thing too. And I kept hearing people say like, "Oh, it's like the flu," and I'm like, "Not for me, dude. I've had the flu.
Hey,
That was
y'all
bad."
remember the Republicans? They say it's just the flu. It's just a bad flu season. I got COVID. I said, motherfucker, this ain't the flu.
No, man. So at
Totally.
first, I was like, other people got sick before me, and then I'm all like, I'm not gonna get sick. You know, I'm eating right, and I'm exercising.
Yeah.
And then a day or two later, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling sick. It's not so bad. I'll work, and then I
Yeah.
work. Then the next day, I'm like, wow, I feel really sick. I don't think I can work today. I'm gonna have to lay down.
yeah,
Right, right.
The next day it was so bad I was shaking.
Yeah.
I called local hospital and they said, "What do you want us to do? It's a virus." And I was like, "Is there a protocol? Is there like IV fluids or what?" They're like, "No, stay home. Good luck."
Yeah.
That
Yeah, exactly.
later
Good
that
luck.
night, I was so bad that I was like, I'm not going to wait around to find out that I'm going to the hospital or something. I don't want to, figure out what's going to be. But I was breathing heavy, so I know Joe talked a lot about it on his show about
Right.
his treatment.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, I got it bad. I'm feeling like death. What's up? And then he was just, I told him, like, I called the hospital. They said nothing. He's like, no. Call like a private practice. Tell them what you're experiencing. They can give you something, anything. Like, here's the thing. Even if you're sick, they can give you IV fluids because that'll help you. You're dehydrated.
Right.
Like, these doctors will help you out. So the challenge is a lot of these treatments, like monoclonal antibodies, is $2,500 per treatment.
Oh wow.
So sure enough,
expensive.
we're lucky enough to be able to have this taken care of.
Right.
And we actually got everybody the treatment, but like overnight, I was better.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
You know, it's weird. Like when I wasn't feeling well, my wife was real concerned. She was like a big time COVID spaz, right? So she sent me down to the clinic to find out within 24 hours the rapid response. So I get the rapid response test, and they call you back, and I called back, and I called the lady. She said, "You have COVID." And it's funny. I was one of those guys. Just the flu. It was just the flu. As soon as she told me that I had COVID, I said, "Oh man, I'm gonna freaking die." That was like my first response.
Yeah.
Hey, Echo Health Alliance spent a lot of your tax dollars weaponizing a virus, and they did a good job at it.
Guys, we got huge breaking news that
What Trump say?
nothing funny. Diamond of Diamond and Silk has died.
What?
So we have Michael Morrison is reposting a truth from Trump. Really bad news for Republicans and frankly all Americans. Our beautiful Diamond of Diamond and Silk has just passed away at her home in the state she loved so much, North Carolina. Silk was with her all the way, and at her passing, there was no better team anywhere, anytime. Diamond's death was totally unexpected. Probably her big precious heart just plain gave out. Rest in peace, our magnificent Diamond. You'll be greatly missed. And we have this from the official Diamond and Silk Twitter account right here. They say, the world just lost a true angel warrior patriot for freedom, love, and humanity. Please respect the privacy of Diamond's family. Memorial ceremony, TBA. Contributions towards preserving Diamond's legacy are only being accepted at the following link. Man, that's crazy. This just happened. They posted this 2 minutes ago. So somebody posted in the super chat that Diamond and Silk had passed away. I immediately went to fact check. This is about 5 minutes ago. I saw the post from the office of Mike. Couldn't get up Truth Social because Truth Social blocks you from viewing posts unless you like are logged in or whatever. And then Diamond and Silk's official account just posted it. So rest in peace, man. Big bummer. Sad to hear it.
Yeah. It's horrible.
I didn't know her. I didn't know anything about them. This is the first I've heard of them. What are they?
Personalities.
Diamond and
Yeah.
Silk. What are they known for?
Sporting Trump, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
whenever you're a black woman and you support Trump openly, I mean, it's
You're a celebrity.
overnight because you don't see it as we like unicorns. So whenever a black person supports a Republican president,
Yeah.
man,
I was
the
gonna say
love you get
pariah.
from the
Yeah.
Republicans
Yeah.
is amazing. Yeah.
I was gonna say pariah. I mean, you guys probably get attacked like crazy. Like
Yeah.
as soon as you guys
Yeah.
came out, like you mentioned, you lost fans.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's just being black. You're like supposed to be Democrats. Like
Isn't that weird that it's like the people claim to be fighting for racism are perpetuating exactly what they claim to be fighting against?
That's because Joe Biden picks his vice president because she's black. That's why they picked the judge, because she's black. They're great politicians, you know what I mean? But
that pisses off racist white people, or racist people get pissed off if someone of another race puts someone of their race in because they feel like they're getting undercut. Just makes more animosity.
They call
exactly.
Us,
they're actually creating racists.
They call us token blacks, but they do it all the time. But it's okay.
Yeah.
It's like it's a double standard. Oh, I'm gonna pick a black woman. Oh, I'm gonna pick this because she's black. Right. I mean, ain't they token black? You didn't give it to them for their qualification, but they call us token Negroes.
Yeah, because
it feels so obvious that putting someone in a position because of their color is
obvious, right?
Racist.
Right. Yeah, it's obvious.
Right.
But the issue is that he proclaimed it. Yeah. Is that he's like, I promised I would have a woman of color as my VP, and it's like, if he just picked Kamala Harris, people would be like, you think he did that as a virtue signal? They wouldn't be saying outright like, we know he did it because he's racist.
It's for the black vote though. That's why he's doing it.
That's why he's got to say it. That's why he's just got to put it out there.
The Supreme Court he appointed, she's not even a judge. She doesn't even know what a woman is. She's not.
That's
a
crazy.
Judge.
Yeah. What is her name?
What a woman is.
That girl's name?
I don't know.
You guys know the woman's name? The new Supreme Court justice?
Just call her black woman.
We're all like,
Karine Jean-Pierre
totally forgettable.
Like,
she's the black woman that doesn't know what a woman is.
But I'll tell you, one of the most offensive things about it is Karine Jean-Pierre his press secretary she's really bad at her job.
She's horrible.
Yeah. Well, she's going to be because she has to lie for Joe Biden. So she's probably a great press secretary, but
she's horrible.
She's horrible. Yeah. Jen Psaki, you knew she was lying.
Yeah, but she was pretty good. Yeah,
she knew how to play the game.
Yeah,
and so it's like you're really frustrated. You're like, come on.
That new one. If she doesn't have that paperwork,
really good off the cuff.
Yeah, but if she doesn't have that paperwork in front of her to read off of, the other girl, that new girl,
she's blind.
She's done. She wouldn't have nothing to say. Yeah, because she can't think for herself. It's all. She's actually a token.
Yeah,
it's like ESG stuff, but in government, I mean, it's all the same, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the weirdest thing. Like, what's the United States going to look like when they're like, okay, we got rid of anybody capable of doing the job, but everybody who is here looks like a rainbow?
Yeah, it's like that dude stealing suitcases. Why did he get his job? Stealing suitcases.
Right.
That's so weird too. Like, what was up with that? You know what we think? People were saying that he would steal women's clothing and then get off on wearing it in public. I think that makes sense though. Like,
it makes a lot of sense.
I call him an honest politician because, like, what he was doing is just a small amount of what all the other politicians are doing on such a bigger level. So at least he did it to people's, sort of face, sort of, kind of, not really, but kind of stealing the luggage and walking away. But.
And then lying about it is the funniest thing. It's like, bro, you're on camera.
And this is the time he got caught.
You didn't have baggage when you flew. Why are you grabbing people's suitcases?
Like, I think a lot of people lose their luggage all the time, right? This is, and we never find it. How many times did he get away with it?
How many of them are in his apartment right
The reason why they found this, because how much was that bag he stole? It was like an expensive designer bag. So they investigated that. Yeah.
Yo, what is it? Toomey? Is it the company?
Toomey.
Something like that.
Super expensive bags. You ever see those?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you get a little carry-on bag, it's like $1,000.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So he grabbed the wrong bag, man.
Yeah.
He could have grabbed that Walmart $20 bag and people would have been like,
that's why he grabbed it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. He's thinking like, ooh, there's going to be a nice dress in here I can wear.
Yeah.
Good news from earlier. Damar Hamlin's released from the hospital. We were talking earlier about athletes falling down, and he had...
Did they say why? Like, did they say what he had or what happened?
Didn't say. 1 week after cardiac arrest, he's gave a statement. He's headed home to Buffalo with a lot of love in my heart, on my heart. Good for you.
I hope he makes a full recovery, of course, but do you think the truth will ever come out?
Well, I think
actually happen.
The healthier he is, the more likely the truth will come out.
You think so?
He's the guy. He's the spokesman for what happened to him.
He seems like a good guy. He had a great charity going, and I think I think he would speak the truth. I'm hoping he would.
But how many of these? So I talked about a friend of mine who he lost control of his hands and his legs after he got the vaccine. And the doctors told him that's what it was.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
and like, yeah, I'm not telling you what is or isn't. I'm saying that, like, this has literally happened. Okay,
my sister-in-law, the exact same thing.
Talk to your doctor about what makes sense for you. The doctors came out later and said it was a vitamin deficiency. That's an important point of the story. So the issue is, what are you allowed or supposed to think, or how are you supposed to know when you get conflicting stories? Because here's my issue. Obviously, there's a lot of people who come out and they want to blame the vaccine, and I'm like. Yo, it's really hard when I'm sitting in a room reading stories and we're all at our computers trying to figure out what's going on. The one thing I can say is there sure are a lot of stories about people collapsing on sports fields and while running and doing all these things.
A lot.
And there's let's say hypotheses and theories about what's going on. But we're not getting any official work done on investigating.
Red flag right there. Have they made it official that the vaccine causes blood clots?
So I think
We got fact checked on that, didn't we?
But you did. I talked about it
Yeah.
because it was. Here's what they said: AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson did get flagged for a rare side effect of blood clots.
Right.
But the Pfizer BioNTech one they said was the study showed strong signals of blood clots, but not evidence of causation, just correlation. Now here's a funny thing: they do the climate change thing for people, having heart attacks. And it's just a correlation.
Yeah.
You guys, no, hey, that was just a correlation. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So, the best thing anyone can say is, and I mean this sincerely, we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Just to make sure your doctor is up to date on all of this information. If your doctor can't answer your questions, find one who can. It's that simple. Because the media is going to censor everything. YouTube's got their rules. There's different varying opinions. All that matters in my view is you have a doctor who knows what they're talking about, and then you get sound medical advice.
Right. Yeah. That happened to my sister-in-law as well. She couldn't walk. She lost all the
Eric
feeling in her
Clapton.
leg. Yeah.
You know who Eric Clapton is? The famous guitar player?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I can't use my hands. What happened? And so, one thing I think too is if you give 400 million doses of a vaccine and it's got like a fraction, like, 0.01% side effect, you're going to see several thousand stories and it might freak you out.
Right.
But the real issue might be that just gave out 400 million doses. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why I'm like, look, man, I don't want to be biased one way or the other. But obviously, I think people need to get sound medical advice from a guy who knows all about this.
Yeah, but it's
you don't want to. You don't want to go to a doctor and he's just like, oh, I don't know anything about this, but here's
Yeah.
my advice. No. Go to a doctor who can be like, here's the studies we saw. Here's my opinion on them, and here's my recommendation for you.
You know, it's
Like, we're
crazy.
not-
They
like-
didn't do any long-term studies though. They tested them in billions of people.
well,
And they tested
they're
it
doing it now.
6 months.
But
They're doing
no.
it now.
But when they tested it, whenever someone got hurt, they just kicked them out of the trial, right? So that data was skewed, and we're trusting the data that was given by them, done by them, that they have no liability for, that they make a profit off of this product, while the government is not connecting the dots here or investigating any of this. That just stinks to high
It's
heaven.
not just that they're not investigating it. It's that President Biden 7 hours ago tweeted out, everyone 6 months and up should get their updated COVID vaccine. Like, why is a non-doctor telling people to get COVID vaccines 6 months olds?
This is what
Right.
bothers me about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is that I can sit here all day and be like, find a doctor who's right for you. And Joe Biden doesn't have to.
Right.
And these celebrities don't have to. And The Rock doesn't have to.
Right.
These other big YouTubers don't have to. And I'm like, wait, man. How is it that if you say something like, I'm not a doctor, but my recommendation is not to take this medication, it's like, oh, we're going to ban you. But this guy who's not a doctor is saying, pull into a 7-Eleven parking lot, let a stranger inject you. That's the craziest thing to me. No,
right.
I got into it. I talk about this story. I got into it on Twitter because Casey Neistat, he's a cool dude. He said, go get the vaccine or whatever. And I responded with like, go talk to a doctor and figure out if it
Exactly.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the response I got from him was like, he's like, that's weird. I just drove into a parking lot and got it through the window. And I was like, yo.
He also said vote for Hillary Clinton, and he did work for CNN, so he
But he-
doesn't have the best judgment there.
He did say he regretted endorsing Hillary Clinton. I don't think he's a bad dude. I just think
I tell you like this: when Trump said he was going to come out with a vaccine, and he said he was going to have one by the end of the year, I said I ain't taking that shit.
so did Kamala Harris.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the whole thing about that vaccine when it first came out, hey, if you take the vaccine, you don't have to social distance. You don't have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
We'll be
people's
back
getting
to normal.
Yeah, back to normal. It was a great vaccine.
Stop the curve.
Yeah, whatever. And then people's getting the vaccine and people were still getting sick. Oh, if you're vaccinated, you still got to social distance and wear a mask. I'm like, wait a minute.
Right.
That was the
How
promise.
effective is this vaccine if you still have to
Well,
social distance and wear a
100%
mask?
safe and effective, according to the CEO of Pfizer. And then 98, 95, 93, 92, you see the news articles going all the way down. And
We got to go to Super Chats. We're running a little behind, but I thought that was fun. So let's jump to Super Chats. If you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show with your friends, become a member at timcast.com. We're going to have a members-only uncensored show coming up. I'm going fast because we went 6 minutes over. We were talking, and it was fun. So let's read some Super Chats from you guys and smash that like button. Thanks so much. We got a lot of likes here. Grothy says, let the fun begin. Buck. Appreciate it. What do we got? Flooded Timber Farm says, would love to see you guys hire the lady that was fired from that gaming company. Did you guys hear that? Some woman was following Ian Miles Chong and Libs of TikTok, so they fired her.
What?
That's so insane, isn't it?
Do you have a
I don't
name?
know. I think you can look it up. It's on the
following?
Post Money. But I think she's Canadian. We can't. I don't know if she's not Canadian. We can try and figure something out. But we can't hire Canadians, unfortunately.
Wait a minute. Not following in the car, not following on foot, following them on social
Twitter.
media.
That's right.
Yeah.
And she was fired?
That's right.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
That is not weird. That's
Like the media matters people follow you guys. Should they be fired?
That is
Like, that's what they're supposed to
crazy.
do,
That's
you know?
crazy.
It's a cult, man. All right, what
Makes
we got?
sense if you're stalking a person, but just you follow them on social media, you get fired.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
wild.
Stephen Frost says, Tim, you and the team should look into limited run games, firing an employee because of a My Little Pony fan getting offended. I wish I made that up. It did not make it up.
Wow.
Well, people are leaving Twitter because of free speech, so
That's right.
It makes sense. It's not like they're actually moving in beside you. You can block them, but no, I have to leave.
All right. Matt Field says, what happened to Tim today? He's got one leg entirely off the fence. He's not censoring himself. He's naming the cultists. What happened? I don't know. I felt like today was pretty routine. I did 3 more segments than I did like at the end of 20 and after 2021. I cut out 3 segments. I started doing again today because I just felt like it was fun. But I felt like it was pretty routine. Other than this Saturday, we're all going to come hang out in DC's Freedom Plaza. It's going to be legit. So if you're a skateboarder, a blader, a scooter, a BMXer, if you got a pogo stick or moon boots, you name it, come hang out. It's going to be fun. We got those. There's boots with like springs on them.
Yeah.
And they're like, we can't get them to work, but it's, you're supposed to be able to like do flips and stuff. If you got those, bring them on down, man. We're gonna hang out.
We got the moon boots. They're more for like just working out and bouncing. But I wanted the kangaroo boots where you can really get like 6 feet and do flips. I don't know if those are the
Kangaroo
right
boots.
Yeah,
Oh, they have
kangaroo
like
shoes.
Yep. Something like it's like yeah.
Wow, so people can be falling dead.
Dude,
No,
have you guys ever-
Sign a waiver.
Have you guys ever seen Extreme Pogo?
Yeah,
No.
that's wild.
They do backflips on pogo sticks.
Yeah.
They're like
What?
bouncing 12 feet in the air. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's Saturday. Come
Need
hang
to bring
out.
back roller derby.
Roller derby's big.
Yeah.
They got shops popping up all over.
Really? They don't
Yeah.
show it on
Oh,
TV
yeah, if you-
like they used to.
If you guys got quads and you want to come and you want to quad around, man, we're big fans of that too. I just, people, we're out there to have a good time on a Saturday, have fun, come do your thing. There's no official event. We're not doing anything. I'm just saying I'm going to be there. And in my car, I'm going to have a whole bunch of Timcast skateboards that I don't want to carry around. And I'll probably just give away to whoever's there.
Right on. 10 a.m., right?
Yeah.
10 a.m.
All right, 10 a.m. You
Yeah.
heard it there. I saw it in the chat. People were asking what time. 10 a.m.
Yep.
Eastern Standard
10 a.m.
Time.
And it's going to be fun. And we're going to film. And we're just going to be chilling. Because I was there last weekend having a good time minding my own business. And I intend to do the same thing next weekend.
Is roller derby where they smash into each other? Where they're
Yeah,
like
they'd be on
racing and then
skates, yeah.
But
Full
sort
body
of,
checks?
it's like, yeah, it's a bit rough. I think the goal is to like you're trying to outlap.
it's a race.
Yeah,
but
so-
you're just
it's
like
something
ramming into
like that.
whoever.
I don't know if race is the right word. It's like a point
They
system.
were in teams too, right?
Yeah, and it's like you're trying to like bypass someone to get a point or
Were
something.
people getting injured? Is that why it
Oh,
had
people was getting messed.
Yeah, for real.
it's a lot of high speed bones?
It's like 10 times worse as hockey.
Yeah.
All right, Raymond G. Stanley Jr. says, Tim, the truth of the matter is that we are many. We are stronger than we realize, stronger than they can ever imagine. The cult would cower if all of us spoke out. Be strong, people. We will win. That's what I'm saying, man.
Dude.
When I hear that so many skateboarders are like, yeah, I'm just tired of getting messages from skateboarders. Look, man, I love you guys, the people who you know who you are, my friends. And they're people across the industry, and they're just like, I really wish someone else would speak out. It's like, okay, dude, well, look, I'm not a pro skater, but I'm sitting right here screaming to high heavens, and I'm gonna keep doing it, and we're gonna keep pushing, and we're not gonna. But where are y'all at?
Right.
Where's any like? Here's the funny thing: the rollerbladers, they got no issue because they got nothing to lose. The rollerblade industry is like just non-existent. They're made fun of. But for real,
Right.
So like we've had pro rollerbladers come out and just be like, big fan, love it, and I'm like, you're not worried about getting canceled? And they're like, getting canceled from what? BMXers too, and we had one dude get kind of offended.
Yeah.
He was like, what does that mean? I was like, well, I think like the smaller action sports industries you have less to fear. Some of these skateboarders, they make like $80,000 a year, and that's really, really good. And then they're like, I can't lose it. It's my job.
Right.
But no, we gotta show them that we're here to have fun.
Yeah.
No hate, no politics, just skate. I'll come down. I'll do some nollie hard flips. You guys can bring your scooters, whatever you want to bring, and your blades, your boards, and it'll just be a good time. That's all.
You're
it'll
not going
be.
to bring Trump flags or anything? No, it's just gonna be love is love. Yeah.
Yeah,
Love is love.
That's it. We'll bring some skateboards. All right. Non-existent Homestead says Luke got it backwards. The FBI does not work for the White House. The White House works for the FBI.
Good point. I concede. I was wrong.
The FBI works for the CIA. Is that also confirmed? J. Edgar Hoover was basically under blackmail to those guys. according to Whitney
There's
Webb.
a bigger institution above all of them, kind of calling the shots here, but I think the commenter made a good point.
How can you have a hearing at the and say these words? I cannot confirm or deny. How you get away with that?
Oh, the FBI about the
yeah,
what's his
about
name?
Ray Epps. Yeah.
I can't confirm or deny.
Yeah. Is that the same thing as pleading the fifth?
Yeah, basically. All right, Max Reddick says, Tim, you said in an earlier segment today that people need to stop being afraid and speak up. I agree. Please call out Sam Cedar for his BS. We need this for the culture war. He's always bashing you. He's not that big.
Sam Cedar?
Yeah, do you guys know?
Is that the guy who got involved with Steven Crowder?
That's right.
They did a bait and switch with that other guy with the eyebrow action. What's his name?
And so this is why, like, I have no problem with like mentioning him. You want us to talk about it? Listen, the dude, his whole shtick is trying to get attention. He's sadly desperate. He did a voice on Bob's Burgers, and they started cutting his character out, and he was losing it. He does you ever see Bob's Burgers?
Yeah.
Sam Cedar is the voice of the health inspector. And I remember I was talking to him once, and he was like, "Yeah, but they're like weaseling me out of the show, man." He's getting bummed about it. So what does he do? No, I mean, I'd be bummed too. I mean, I feel for him. Like he's like trying to be a voice actor. He's trying to do comedy. He's trying to be a comedian.
Right.
And then they start saying, like, you know what? We're not going to use his character anymore. And the character works, I think, in the show. Like, I'm not a big fan of Bob's Burgers, but having that conflict where the guy comes and gives him beef, they should do more of it.
Yeah.
He's getting bummed about it. So what do I see him do later? It kind of bums me out. This is the first guy ever to give me a shout out with Sam Cedar. First person ever. I'm at Occupy Wall Street, I'm filming, and Sam Cedar goes in a show and says, "This is Tim Pool guy." No, how about that? Then you see him go down this route where it's like he does every other video is like Dave Rubin or me or something. It's like he doesn't talk about anything substantive. It's like almost all the content is just like, please look at me. I'll talk about you.
I think
so. People are like, Tim, you got to call him out. Why, man? It's sad.
Yeah.
He's a dude who got cut from a cartoon show.
Yeah.
Lately they've been doing. I think Sam's really great. Actually, I think he's really intelligent, and he made an observation about something we were talking about on a show. Lately, his show's been pretty interesting, pretty observant, and him and Emma were talking about when we were over at TP USA and how we were talking about Occupy and saying that wokeism came in and destroyed the movement. Like you couldn't even, they wouldn't let me speak because I was white. They were like, we've had too many white people speak to the media. And he was like, Tim, you guys remember, it was the cops that ended Occupy Wall Street. It was the authoritarian crackdown. Leave all the other stuff away. Don't blame and point fingers. It was the cops. Remember what ended that movement. It wasn't racism.
No.
The cops came in and kicked everyone out of the park. I was there that day.
No. They did that, but there were libertarians and conservatives. I met Luke at Occupy Wall Street, and they got chased out by crackpot Marxists.
Well,
the Marxists
that thing works its stuff
started
out,
putting
in
all
my
the
opinion.
white people, black people, and Asian people in separate groups to vote based on race.
But that didn't stop it. I was there for that.
I was stubborn. I stayed. No one chased me out.
What stopped the movement was when you had an actual populist wave, and I'll throw shade to the right because I told this to Steve Bannon. I said, if you went down there and you actually gave support to the people who are complaining about the banks, you would have had a true populist movement. Yeah. But the right was too busy making fun of Occupy Wall Street. Then the Marxists came in because the right was like, Hannity was like, they're so stupid, don't look at them. They're crapping on cop cars. And I'm like, well, all the conservatives left. The first weekend I was there was an old couple sitting on a couch with an American flag behind them. And they were conservatives. And they were like, look, we don't know, but the banks got bailed out and the people got screwed. The old people couldn't stay and stick around, and the young people with trust funds could. And so the nonprofits came in, the Marxists, the woke cult started coming in, and then within a month and a half, they went from everyone come and share your ideas to if you're black, you go in that group. If you're white, you get no group. If you're Asian, you're in that group. If you're Mexican, you're in that group. And then you vote based on your race.
I agree that did happen, but I think the point he's making is remember who the enemy was in that situation for all of us. It was the Federal Reserve. It was the big business
and
fascist interests that also broke up the movement. They came in with cops.
But the problem was, at that point, the whole thing was corrupt. You had the General Union and the General Assembly fighting each other. Two different factions, the east and west side of the parks, in disagreement. The General Union, which you're not going to read about in the Occupy books because they will lie and claim it never happened, were regular people sleeping in tents, living in the park, who said the structure they've built is wrong. They said, the General Union guys, these are like lefty, anti-establishment guys, said the family unit is the most important. So the form of government we want for Occupy is that each tent is a family, and then the family sends their representative to the General Assembly.
That's central planning, man.
And what the General Assembly said was, we should change to a spokes council system where we create groups based on your race or gender or identity. And that's what destroyed everything. Because I watched people leave crying. I meet this guy, Luke Rudkowski, an anarchist, certainly not a leftist, because in the beginning, everybody was like, the bailouts are bad, the war is bad, Obama is bad. And then the woke cult came in, destroyed it. And I wish someone like Bannon and other people on the right would have come in and or Breitbart and been like, yeah, you know what? we agree with the message opposing the big banks and the establishment and the elites. Instead, they backed off, made fun of them, let, what's his name, Jack Donaghy, Alec Baldwin show up, and then a bunch of lefty celebrities came in, and they ceded that whole thing to the cult.
Peter Schiff came down there to troll and make fun of people for, I think,
saw
being
that.
dirty.
I saw
that video.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my point. Look, dude, I've done a debate with Sam Cedar. He didn't know what solipsism was. He didn't know what deontological moral philosophy was. He didn't know what utilitarianism meant.
He's an actor. He's an actor first. I agree with that.
Sure. And so people are supposed to be like, why am I going to talk about a guy whose whole bit is making fun of people on YouTube? What we're talking about this whole time is cultural battles, Supreme Court. We're talking about politicians. But people, I bring this up, Max, because other people mention it, like, get into a battle with him. Well, there you go. I just gave you your battle, right? I'm not interested in having it out with a YouTuber. He'll make 12 more videos about me. So will the Young Turks. We'll mention them.
Yeah, the Young Turks love you.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
And there's look. There's no wonder why we had 50,000 people watching the show tonight, and they get 7,000 because who cares about me? It's like are you seriously like? We're talking about Joe Biden having classified documents. Everybody's like, I want to hear that. What's going on with Joe Biden? Imagine if I did a show and I'm like, tonight's show is about a guy you never heard of.
Yeah, what's so crazy? They're attacking you for your opinions, but they don't want to point out the obvious hypocrisy of Democrats and the media in general. It's like you're doing your thing, you're spreading your opinions, but they don't care anything what our government's doing is wrong. They'd rather attack another fellow YouTuber who might have different opinions. It's naive. It's stupid.
Maybe their argument is, well, we're the biggest live show on average, so that's the target. But it's just like, but that's because we don't get into the drama weeds. We talk about ideas, and I think
you're more factual, and you live in reality. That's why.
I suppose so. For a lot of people, that's probably the case. But we'll move on from that. All right, Jesse J says Ian is like a dude that while filling out a form and it asks in what city he lives. He doesn't know how to proceed because he lives in a town, not a city. Come on, Ian, you get the idea.
That's great.
Semantics.
Exactly.
That's perfect. Semantics. Yeah.
I have a problem with this form. It says which city. I don't live in a city. I live in a village.
Yeah.
I don't like to put my race on those things. I put other.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what to call my. I don't know.
Well, I was told when I was a kid that if I put my actual race, I'd be discriminated against, white and Asian. Because Asians you're allowed to discriminate against than white people, of course.
I'm not white.
Y'all have the best IQ score, so yeah.
Well,
you got all kinds of privilege.
I was told to lie and say I was Mexican when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really?
You confess.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm not interested in that. I'm happy to say that I'm part Korean. All right.
My nephew's Korean.
Yeah. I'm not going to live in a world where people tell me I have to pretend I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not white. Like, get it through your thick, not you, but get it through your thick skull. I'm not white. I've got color in my skin. It's like pinkish.
Yeah.
1 and 21 million says, here's a 20 for Ian rolling 20s. Buy Bitcoin. Ooh. Well, there you go.
I don't think we're at the bottom yet.
Yeah.
All right. Let's grab some more.
We're getting close.
I Am What I Am says, here's your weekly white pill. Even with everything going on, we still live in the most amazing place and wonderful time. We should speak out from a place of love, compassion, never fear your own voice. I think that's a very, very important point to be made. Nice. Like
Easier said than done.
We got toilets full of fresh water. We can take a dump in and literally flush down the toilet. Like there are places in the world where there's no water.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's not so bad here. But that's kind of the point. That's why we're standing up for what we believe in, because we don't want to lose that. We got it good.
Right, we do.
And they would rather you own nothing. You'll be happy, they say. Aldo says, saw you guys in Bakersfield. It was a damn good show. That joke about Juicy finishing his sandwich after the MAGA country incident. Dude couldn't resist a 6-inch, couldn't he? Got my car vandalized that night. That's CA for you. Yeah. There you go, man. Man, crazy stories. You guys see that story out of Houston where the dude, I think it was Houston, he shoots the robber?
Yes. Is that the one where we shot him 9 times or 8 times?
Yep,
Something execution style at the end.
It was an execution style.
That last shot. He walks across the room, puts one in his head, whereas he's already on the ground, like completely still. And
so he gets robbed. He shoots him 9 times and then shoots him execution.
A guy breaks into a restaurant and starts robbing everyone, and the guy is watching him
with a gun and
with a gun.
At
so the dude holding concealed. Pulls it out and hits him 4 times. The guy drops. The gun goes flying. And then he walks towards him, him 4 more on his way towards him, and then walks towards him again. And then he walks right up to 1 in the head. You're like, dude, that's not legal in a lot of places. Because once in a lot of places, if they're no longer a threat, the threat has been neutralized. You don't keep shooting.
In New York City, it's illegal. California,
that's wrong.
No. He's right. in some cities, but I'm speaking morally and ethically. Like the situation is, I do not believe it's incumbent upon the victims to determine when when someone threatens to murder or execute them, when they're supposed to just be like, I'm not, like, here's my point. This guy apparently was a BB gun. That's not the victim's problem. These people are all victimized. This guy, when you point a gun at someone, you have explicitly stated, I will end your life right now.
And you can't tell nowadays if it's a BB gun.
BB guns are exact replicas of exact firearms, especially when you get rid of that, except for that orange tip.
So a lot of people need to understand, there's tons of videos, you watch them, where the cops will, be attacked by a guy, they'll shoot him, and he won't go down.
Right.
And there was one video where a guy had a knife, and the cop shoots him like 3 times, and the guy staggers and then starts lunging forward with the knife, and the cop's screaming, no, 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 and then he shoots him in the head. It's like, dude, just because the guy's on the ground, he's holding a gun. Just because he's shot doesn't mean he can't go like this and take the gun and shoot a kid in the head.
Yeah, but he like this particular instance, the gun goes out of his hand after the 4th shot. And so the guy walks up, he kicks it. You can watch the video. It's on Twitter.
He actually kicks the gun away too?
Yeah,
I didn't
he
see
gets
that.
it and takes it away and puts it on the...
And then
after
probably
the
adrenaline,
ninth,
too.
no, after this 9th shot.
Right,
probably adrenaline.
right,
there
right.
could have been another guy there casing it. You never know what you're up against.
That's an important distinction. From what I saw, he shoots him, gets him on the ground, and then unloads, and that's it. Because
There's a longer video.
he was ending the threat.
Yeah, the
Because-
longer video, highly recommend.
Is he getting arrested?
No, the police
disappeared.
are looking for him, but they're not charging him right now. And I think you watch the video and it's clear cut self defense. I think it's horrible that it happened, but it's clear cut self defense.
I kind of agree with that. Like, I'm like, if someone threatens to murder people, kill them on the spot, no matter how many shots. Why would you not?
Particularly if they're expressing the means to do so. Like a guy with his fists up who's like, "Ooh, I'm going to go do this." You might want to try and
I'm talking like guns at people's heads and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a slippery slope too. If say they do prosecute that guy, right, and they take it to court, and it sets a evil precedent against anybody that's trying to defend their own life. So let's say they pull up another scenario. Well, they keep shooting it, and the guy throws the gun, and he keeps shooting them, and he didn't see it, and they actually end up prosecuting him based on this one precedent case. I think that's a fine line. It's a slippery slope. Nobody that's a Second Amendment advocate wants to go down because it says Second Amendment, you have the right to defend your life, protect your life. It doesn't mean shoot to maim or anything. It says shoot to kill.
I got an idea. I was thinking about this. I was talking to Luke about this. If you have a right, you have the right to vote, right? Can they charge you money to vote? I'm pretty sure the poll tax was deemed unconstitutional.
Yeah. Right.
So why is it
ID's
that the government
unconstitutional.
can charge me money for a permit to own a firearm?
Right.
How about somebody who lives in a state that requires permitting, tell the government they have to give you the permit free of charge because it's a right. You recognize they can require a permit, but that it's at their expense, not yours, because they're the ones who want you permitted and it's your right.
That's the same logic that Democrats are using with voter to have an ID to vote. Yeah, because in Las Vegas, you don't have to have an ID to vote there.
Then I believe it's unconstitutional to require someone to pay money for a permit. I think permits are unconstitutional, but let's start from here. Anybody who lives in a state that charges money for permitting, Maryland, file a lawsuit. Call one of these 2A advocacy groups. Hit me up. If you're one of these organizations, and let's talk about this, because I think we could easily win in the Supreme Court, especially right now, if we get a case that says you can't charge money for someone to exercise a right.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, imagine if it's like, you want to plead the Fifth? That'll be $20, sir. No. You want to keep them bear arms? That'll be $500, sir. Nope. That means NFA items. If you want me to, if I want to get a silencer, if I want to get a machine gun, NFA tax and permit, unconstitutional. You cannot charge someone money to exercise a right.
Hey, that's your Korean side right there.
You know it.
Yeah. I've never heard
save
anybody
lives.
come with that argument. It sounds like a very, very valid argument.
See, West Virginia, though, is constitutional carry. You don't need a permit.
Yeah.
They outright just say, no, you're good.
You have to have it exposed, though, right? Not concealed.
No.
concealed.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
West Virginia, if you're a resident, you walk in, you show them your ID. The federal law still applies for a background check, but West Virginia's chill. You can get your gun as soon as you're cleared. Then you can holster it right underneath your shirt and walk right out.
Wow, that's
you're good.
That's
New Hampshire's the same
that's the
way.
it should
You
be.
can open and
Vegas, you got to
carry.
have a permit to conceal. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying.
Same with Florida.
Then you guys should figure out if there's a gun rights group or something, advocacy group, file a lawsuit and be like, you can't charge money. The courts have already ruled, I think it was Kavanaugh, you can require a permit. Okay, well then why am I paying for it?
Right.
No, you got to pay for it.
Right.
That's my right. You're the one who wants to put a barrier on me. I want to exercise my right. I'll accept your barrier if you pay for it. Now that means anything you want to get, you still have that hassle, but we'll work towards it, and then eventually we'll get permitting made illegal because the Constitution is a permit, right? All right, let's read this one. Nikki Bem says, Ian, you have so much more to unfold with Kinsey and look into John Money. They're heroes to them, and our sex ed is based off of it. Yeah, John Money's crazy.
Yeah, you're gonna love that, Ian, for real.
I worked with a guy named John Money in LA. It's so funny.
Really?
He's an actor, yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, John Money, huh?
This John Money was a New Zealand psychologist and sexologist.
And he forcefully surgically altered a child, and then
Correct.
both these kids killed themselves.
Oh, he's like the father of the idea of gender. Is that right?
Really?
Sexual identity and
He
biology.
took
of gender.
two twin boys. One had had circumcision mishap.
Yeah.
So then he was like, "We're gonna medically alter that little boy into a girl, socialize him, and don't worry, gender's a social construct." Both those kids grew up and committed suicide.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Even the boy, he would make them simulate banging each other, like other weird messed up stuff.
It's so wild, dude. You have
Yeah.
to read it to really believe it, even.
All right, GPT3bot says, Tim, run Roberto Jr. for president under the slogan, "The buck stops here." I'll vote for him. Here's a few bucks for y'all. We're gonna do a Roberto Jr. Pro model for our skateboard company. Our Rooster's gonna have his own pro board, and then we'll put all his royalties will go towards improving Chicken City.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I got to get an 8.5
All right.
of that if you make it.
This one's a brutal one. S.A. Federale says, Tim said something about bottom surgery, you mean genital mutilation, being for someone else's gratification recently. We need to call them coconuts in Dane Cook's joke, MFC. People are getting duped into being sex dolls. Here's what I said. Someone like Jazz Jennings is born male and then gets put on puberty blockers and female hormones. When Jazz was 17, they were like, we're going to do bottom surgery, they called it, to create a what do they call it? A pseudo vagina? Is that what it's called?
You want a YouTube term?
Gaping wound, I think, is the
yeah, there you go. Gaping
So this is the issue. It is a wound.
Yeah.
Literally in medical, I'm not saying this to be mean. It's in medical terminology, it is a wound
open
where
wound.
they graft. It's an open wound they graft intestinal material into for one purpose.
Oh, yeah.
So someone else can place their penis inside of it for sexual gratification.
Does it get wet?
I don't know. All I know is it's something I think people need to consider when they're talking to their kids
I was
or
being
whoever.
facetious.
It actually might. That's why they graft colon into it.
Oh man.
That's what I'm saying, and it serves one purpose.
Yeah.
There's no kids coming from this. It's
No.
Right.
and it's just so that another human being who wants to insert themselves into the wound can feel sexual gratification.
And why would you want to do that? Stick it.
Hey, man.
I mean, you're gay already. Just go ahead and put it.
You know, man. But we have a big story that we'll talk about in the members only pertaining to Chicago and this huge scandal that's exposed. I think is going to get pretty brutal. So we'll read one more. We got Long Joseph who says, my dad fell over from a heart attack when I was 15. They said he could live but would be vegetal due to head trauma. I just needed a minute. 3-year daily listener. Thanks for all you guys do. Sorry to hear it, man. It's tough stuff. All right. All right, everybody. If you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends, become a member at timcast.com, because we're going to have a members-only uncensored show coming up at about 11 p.m. and a huge library, and we're going to talk a lot about some dark stuff, so you're not going to want to miss it. It'll probably be sad, it'll be funny, it'll be disturbing, all of those things. You can follow the show at Timcast IRL. You can follow me at Timcast HodgeTwins. You want to shout anything out?
Yeah, you can follow us on YouTube, Conservative Twins.
There you go. Easy enough. All right.
Are you guys on Twitter?
Yeah, under HodgeTwins.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming out. This was really fun. It was really a funny conversation, and I really enjoyed your guys' energy here. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming out. My website is lukeuncensored.com. I did a very important video today about the many coincidences happening all over the world. And when you sign up to lukeuncensored.com, you not only get exclusive videos and merchandise, you also get to be a part of a community. I'm answering all of your questions right now. Check all that out. Be a part of the conversation. lukeuncensored.com. See you there.
Awesome show, man. And I wanted to show you this. And also, you guys out there, I got this as a gift over the holidays. There's 7 of them. They're chakra tuning forks. You have this piece of
Oh, here
metal.
we go. I
You
heard
take
this
a
one
rubber
before.
mallet and you ding it. And then you stick it on your
You're
head.
supposed to hold it at the bottom.
Yeah.
I've been, dude.
You got to hold it at the bottom, dude. It's a tuning fork.
No, it mutes it if you hold it down here. That blocks it. So right
No,
here.
it literally just rang,
It
bro.
just rang. It didn't ring before.
Yeah.
You got to hold it at the bottom.
But what you want to do is touch it to your body.
It's called
right
healing
here.
sound energy. I had a couple of hippies do this to me a couple
Yeah,
years
you
ago.
can't hold it there, Ian. It
Trust
stops
me,
the
guys.
vibration.
I've been doing this. You want to touch it to your head. You touch it to the chakra. Each one is, dude. It's fucking wild. It opened up my sinuses. I was doing it, and then all of a sudden,
What?
I dang it. I rang it, and I was like, within 20 seconds, just sinuses. And then
hear that?
you stick the metal to
I
your
hear
head.
that.
So I was doing it on my third eye.
Let's do it the way Ian said to do it.
Yeah. That's the thing. But then when you touch it to your head, it vibrates a resonating frequency.
Nothing's
And
happening.
now you got to
ding
hit
it-
yourself over the
yeah,
head.
Ding it in front of you. So you
Put
can
it in front of you first.
Do it. Hit it and then
you
go
just
like
stick
this.
it like right on the cranium. Vibrates the skull.
Graphene.
That's what I'm talking about. Figured it out.
Where'd
So,
you get that?
I got it as a Christmas gift from my mother. I bought it on Amazon. Yeah, check it out.
Let me try it.
Let's
And you
while
said
we're
there's
doing
chakra
that,
healing.
There's different
while we're doing that,
chakras for different,
IanCrossland.net.
Yeah, follow
Right?
me at IanCrossland.net. There's other chakras. Anytime, anywhere. See you guys. Yeah. Serge, you want to talk us out while we're
Yeah, what's up,
experimenting?
guys? I'm at Serge.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I rarely plug myself this seriously, but I want some dopamine points from the extra numbers on the screen. So
There you go.
give me one. Thank you.
Yeah, YouTube analytics are all wonky right now. I'm watching it, and they're all wrong.
Yeah, it's
so
wild.
head over to Tim. I see people becoming members on YouTube. I always got to stress this. Go to timcast.com, click Join Us, and become a member at timcast.com, where we will post on the front page. You'll see it in the left, uncensored, members only with the HodgeTwins. That should be up around 11 because we're going to record it right now. Thanks for hanging out, everybody, and we will see you all over at the members only show.